All right, we are live. Yay, us. Unfortunately, our non-subs are in an ad. Poor guys. well, that's the way of the world, unfortunately. But it is Tuesday. Tuesday's a good day. Let me just get rid of this because I keep forgetting to, so I'm gonna try to pay attention to that better. And yeah, welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. It's nice to be streaming again today. We are still playing Roadwarden by Moral Anxiety Games, which, as you can see, we are on the splash screen. So we'll just wait till this ad finishes out and we'll get back to the game. I hope everyone's having a great Tuesday so far. I know I am. I'm here. So yes, welcome in, welcome in. Today's splash screen for Roadwarden says, there are 3 rivers of faith. The core reading of Right's tablets, the river of order, truth, and freedom. Interesting. I'm assuming order, truth, and freedom means the 3 main religions outside of paganism, so interesting. Hey Trav, welcome in. Glad to have you just yesterday. But let's get back to what we were doing. We are currently in Glaucia's camp. So we have opened up yet a little bit more of the map. We've found the hideout. We have sent a former member of the bandit group to this cabin over here, and in a couple of days we will need to do something about that. Hey, Count. Thank you for the bit. Welcome in. Congratulations on getting number 1. Yep. It looks like it. I actually think it kind of corresponds also to the mentalities of the 3 main religions as well, but I could be incorrect. But yes, so we have opened up the old tunnel so that there's an easy way through here. We don't have to go around it anymore. We have a possible quest giver headed to this cabin in a day or two. Game time, not our time. We have found the hideout, which is where we're at right now. We've done most of the conversating, and we've got a bit more to do in our journal. So we could tell Glaucia about the man they're looking for, but we're went to talk to that man first. So we still have explore the peninsula, find the Roadwarden, but here in Glaucia's band, we've actually updated a bit of this. We still have to turn in the hidden pouch in White Marshes. We have more of the hidden village stuff to do. We've actually found out that it was raided by people first and then destroyed by the animals. Good to know. There are still we found out what the lost merchants, what happened to them. They left. They got attacked and went home. We're still looking for the missing hunters. We need to get on top of this. We think that we've the former bandit is going to tell us more about this, which is why we don't want to tell Glaucia about him quite yet. We still have yet to deal with this necromancer, Orantius. We have learned more about the ruined village. Essentially, other tribes attacked them. And then the Wrath of the Herd came through. Very sad. And we have the Runaway, which is our one of the new quests we found. So we did find him. He's a young, strong lad with a pretty face and blue eyes. So that's what we're doing. We have seen the compound. It's pretty rough, pretty damp there. Yeah, that's what I mean, Count, is they could be focusing on each of the books differently, or at least taking one of the 3 books far more seriously than the other 2. I'm not saying that they don't all read from the same books. I'm just saying that they might lean towards a particular book more than the other. So we got places to go and things to do. So I should go. You get back to Soda Pop, even though the highwaymen keep an eye on you. They let you search your bundles without their assistance. So we can head to the pond up here by ourselves. I am going to. I'm curious. The man with the bare chest gets in your way. Where do you think you're going? We need no spy eyes around here, but we aren't going to keep ya ugly mug safe from monsters. Buy yourself a tub at an inn. Okay, we will not be going to the pond. Also, there's saurians all over it, so I don't know what we were thinking anyway. I just wanted to see if they'd let us go there, because it was an option. So I guess we're going back to the Karn, because we don't have any more business here. You pass a pile of guts and feathers, then a short but bloody trail. Cat prints. Okay. Do we want to go to the south? No, we want to ride to a different part of the forest. East to the Painted Bolter, west to the gate. That's the Painted Boulder, that's the gate. Where we want to go? I think we were headed to the monastery in the hopes of something. We also need to get up to White Marshes, so maybe just going to the gate and up through White Marshes would be for the best at this point. Yeah, let's go west to the gate. I know, I'm making decisions again. It's crazy. Alright. You approach the monkey's territory. As the dwellers still grunt and shout at you, you don't see any flying sticks and acorns. So, we've had to go through this before. We can cover our head with the shield, we can attempt to crossbow them to discourage them, or we can yell back. Or we can just run. So, 1 is yell, 2 is crossbow, 3 is shield, 4 is ride. 1, 2, 3, or 4, chat. What do we do? I'm leaving it up to you. I think we ended up just covering our heads with our shield and riding through at one point, but we do need to figure out how to deal with these howlers. This is the second location that we have howlers to deal with. I don't know if we've found out what works best yet, so we're just gonna try again and see what happens. So 1, 2, 3, or 4. Yell, crossbow, shield, ride. It was sometime last week that we did this, so I've forgotten. I think we might have. I don't know. You guys tell me what you want to do, and we will do it. Okay. I think that's 1 vote for 1. Yell back. Anybody else? Sure, why not? All right, let's yell. We're gonna yell. You approach one of the crowded trees holding your trusted axe. The creatures spread at first, but then surround you and your palfrey, throwing at you anything they can grab while staying among the branches. You cover your face, but to no avail. 2 animals move to the lower branches and cackle as they effortlessly dodge your swipes. Your angry shout is met with mocking howls. A few more creatures get on the ground. A lucky rock reaches your forehead, making you retreat. All right, we climb into the saddle and rush Soda Pop. That was not the correct answer, guys. That was just not the correct answer. That hurt. We are now at 4 out of 5. While the larger birds are singing from the trees, the sparrows are searching for berries and insects among the shrubs. Quintus is sitting on the wall, cleaning his crossbow. He lowers the rope quickly on the other side of the wall, climbs down, and opens the gate. Salutations, Warden! What are you? The Lord of the Wiles are at? I bring good news from old Pagos. The plague is no more. What? He leans back again. Say again? When you repeat, he tilts his head back and puts his hands on his waist, bursting in laughter, though his voice is still shaking. Tell me all! Yeah, we had a dream and we decided we needed to be stronger, so we got more health. That's how that worked. It was pretty fun. You'll have to catch the VOD at some point. Trav. We don't really have rare quarrels count. The only time we've run across arrows with feathers was from longbows. We don't rock a longbow. We rock a crossbow, so we don't really have fancy quarrels at all. But we know where to get more. It's not a problem. He has little patience, constantly throwing more questions at you about the druid, his plan, your gifts for the magic tree. He's far from happy when he hears about the prolonged seclusion. I guess it's fair. I'll stay here for some more time. I don't want to mess stuff up, like, I'm not as dumb as a bird. He smiles again. Thank you, Warden. Your soul carries duty like no other. Why are you afraid of Glaucia? Warden, I can't talk about her. His shoulders slump, making him look like a wounded troll. I've got to look after the gate for her, or she'll hurt someone important to me. If she learns I'm telling stories about her, I'm dead too. Okay. We can buy them, I think, in Gale Rocks. We can trade for them in a couple of other places. I don't remember which ones offhand, but they're not hard to get. We just don't use them very much. About your duty. Okay. I've entered the woods many, many times, and you can trust me, the creatures there are beyond any human. I'm not going to say that. We both know that's not true. There's a dragon in there somewhere. We could give him 11 dragons to head to an inn. We do have 27 at the moment. That doesn't mean we won't be using them. It's just we could help him. We do have an elk fur that we want to sell for a decent price, and we do have this bone tablet as well for the same. We are not currently wearing the winged hourglass, which is fine. We might be able to go. We haven't checked in with Old Pagos since the things were lifted, but we should probably give it a little bit more time, actually. And you know, our food supplies are somewhat dwindling, but it's fine. This is fine. This is fine. Cool. No, he's good. We'll come to this later. We're just gonna move on. So, oh, I did not check the time. Oh, we've got 8 hours, 8.5 hours. We're good. So let's go to the monastery really quickly and see what we can do there. We can at least let them know that Old Pagos is good. And then we might stop off at White Marshes for a night. See if we can't make more progress there. That's what we're doing today. I've just decided this. This is what I've decided to do. A brown and golden monkey is sneaking around the hourglass, avoiding the looks of the dwellers. There's no soul in sight. From the mountain comes a cheerful singing of a woman, though you can't understand a single word. You call the monks by hitting the sticks, and the drawbridge lowers. Ailey gestures for you to enter the storage house with his bandaged hand. Warden, he nods, is all right? His young companion is next to him, observing your palfrey. I bring news from Old Pagos. The plague is no more. Ailey flinches as doubt and distrust replaces his look of surprise. How? I helped an elder druid from Howler's Dell recover his strength. He healed the people of Old Pagos, and with a bit of luck, the illness won't return. He looks at Decima, not sure how to react, but her wide, opened eyes doesn't help him much. He reaches out to you with an open palm of his bandaged hand. His fingers are flinching. Will you wait here? I'll gather our order. We'd be honored to hear the entire story. For a moment, he sounds exactly like the tribe from Old Pagos. So what do we tell him? Do we tell him that we'd be happy to tell the whole story, or should we direct him to the villagers? 1 or 2, time or villagers? 1 is time, 2 is villagers. You guys know what to do. Please, chat, tell me, what are we doing? Count wants to tell the tale. It's reasonable. We could definitely tell it. We know more about it than the villagers do, though not what happened in the village. Probably, yes. But here's the thing about that. It's not exactly a secret in the area that Howler's Dell makes offerings to Beholder every year. So I very much doubt that the monks don't know what's going on. The fact that we did all of the offering ourselves may in fact be what causes him to be unhappy about it. But the monks are actually the followers of right. They're not druids, so to speak. They're actually religious people from the followers of the right, the followers of truth, I think it is. But yeah, I like they're against blood magic, but blood offerings and sacrifice not necessarily. So yeah, these are the monks. The monks. The hourglass symbol in the picture should give them that away. They are the monks. So if I go to groups and places, monks. The Order of Truth. These are the Order of Truth, followers of the right. So I believe that they tend to follow the Book of Truth far more than the other two. Just FYI. He might be unhappy enough with what we did to cause problems for us. They might think that Old Pagos is tainted. I'd say 2. That way he can double check what they actually are cured. That's a good point, Trav. You both have good points, but these are... My understanding of these monks is that they're more librarians than anything else. Librarians and alchemists than anything else. I mean, I'm not a big fan of them either, but I suppose if you are an actual follower of right, they're a lot nicer to you. Like, they just haven't been very nice to us, because we are not one of them. And that's been kind of the theme across the board of this peninsula, is like, we're not one of them, so they are like, we don't trust you. And now that we've cured a plague that they didn't know how to cure, tried their best and could not manage, but like, this is very much a leper colony sort of situation, because like he's bandaged all the time. Like, these guys aren't serving in Havlavin or any nicer place, primarily because they are also like the cast-offs of their order to some extent. They're out here in the boonies, so. I think actually we're more acceptable by at least the forest speaker in the south than the rest. But you have to remember that we are from a southern village, from somewhere around Havlavin. So the traditions of our pagan raising are different than the ones in the north that we've come to. And we have politely not, tried to convert anyone to our ancestors and our ways and our personal rights. So it's not that we don't get along with the local druids, it's just that we're not one of their people. It's really what it comes down to. And even then, we've gained the respect of both Elpis in Howler's Dell as well as Forest Speaker in the South. So we don't. I believe we do know his name now, but I don't remember it offhand. Anyway, I'm gonna say sure we have time. I'm deciding this. I believe it was one said one and one said two, so it's my job to decide. I'm sure I have time. He climbs uphill and enters the cave mouth next to the wooden bridge. His short companion follows your movements like an owl would a snake, blocking your path to the storehouse. You feel the weight of your axe. Soon, new hooded figures gather in the yard. Is it true? You hear a couple of times. When Ailey returns, there may be 20 souls around you, sitting on the ground, leaning against the walls, standing upright, or wandering around, keenly observing you. The oldest man, wrinkled, blind, and tiny, is sitting on a stool brought by a boy who can't be older than 10. Not all of them wear sandals, or carry bags, or have their hoods on, but all of them wear similar dark robes. Seems like only the children are allowed to keep hair longer than an inch. In the city harbor, many would take them for refugees. So we can tell them the entire story. All of it. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Or we can decide not to mention anything outside the knowledge of the people of Old Pagos, especially when it comes to Beholder. Yes, we can live bits out. Technically, neither of them are lies. We just don't have to necessarily tell them everything. I don't really do the quick save, quick reload thing here, so I think we're going to. The vote is for 2. We're gonna leave out the bits about Beholder and anything that these people, that the people of Old Pagos would not have seen or known themselves. So, they keep interrupting you with questions about the druid, his powers, or your motivations, and while avoiding the pagan altar makes you stumble once or twice, your story goes smoothly. Their doubts turn into warm thanks, despite the few raised eyebrows of the elders. A young boy mentions his sister and is then reprimanded to forget about his past. Usual indoctrination techniques. Finally, Ailey asks the gathering to return to their duties. Gives you a serious look, rubbing the liver spots on his hands. There's aught else we need to discuss. Go ahead. Our prelate wants to see ye, thou, thee. He coughs. But they're old and feeble, and don't speak unless they have to, and only with those who can be trusted. He gives you a telling look. Thou mayest not be a friend of our order, but we hope to find in thee our ally. So, we could say I'd be honored to meet with them and I'll try my best to gain your trust, or I make no promises. I mean, to be quite frank, so long as they don't go on a witch hunt for us, I don't have a problem with being polite and even trustworthy of them. Yeah, that's really how I feel. What does chat think? Count has already said 1. I'd be honored. Trav, do you agree or disagree? Yeah, I mean that's literally what we've done. Is we try to fix problems. We try not to cause problems. That doesn't always work out for us, as we found out in Howler's Dell. But we do try to help more than harm. I'd be honored to meet with them, and I'll try my best to gain their trust. He snorts. Thy deeds will speak for thee. All right, he's not willing to take us to the prelate yet. But we can ask a bunch of questions. Ooh, I consider asking him to read Theus' letter to me. Ooh, interesting. Okay. I'm just going to go from the top down because that seems to be what everyone wants me to do all the time. Even when I give other options, you guys are boring. I don't know what to say about that. I'm teasing, of course. You guys are lovely. What can you tell me about the ruins of the village in the south? Are there still but one ruins there? He glances at Decima, who moves her head left and right slowly, then clears his throat. Well, I won't lie by pretending I know little. I just decide to let it remain among our many bitter secrets. Okay. Do you need any help? I'm looking for a job. He puts his hands together and repeatedly taps his fingers. After a few breaths, he glances at a wandering monk, then lowers his voice. Let me see thy horse. How fast is it? You lead both him and Decima to the storehouse. While his steps are heavy and fierce, she doesn't make as much as a sound. Ailey shows no interest in your mount. There's this enchantress. She has aught we need you to pick up and bring here. He glances at the door. Follow the eastern road until you find the watchtower. Don't bother with it. It's either empty or a lair. Then head east to the lake. Okay. We've brought up this enchantress before, so it's just that we did not get the monk's trust early enough to get this earlier. Like, that's the whole reason why this scripted place is like, oh, by the way, there's this enchantress. What did you want me to bring? He waves his fingers. A set of quills. We sharpened them and asked her to make them last. Thy pet won't even notice. Why is it such a secret? It's really not. It's just that they're a surprise gift. No, I asked you to this room for a different reason. Okay. What about my reward? What do thou want? Well, just spread a good word for me about me in the order. You ask me for a long and dangerous journey, 5 dragons, or I'm sure you can find a healing potion to spare. I think I only have subscribers in my chat, but there is an ad starting in roughly a minute, so just FYI. Trying to stay in the habit so I can warn my non-subs. Trav says 1. We're trying to build a rep. You can do this in passing, so charging a lot is silly. Yeah, we have money right now. We don't really need to extort the monastery for more money at this point in time. A healing potion would be really useful, but we have actually been pretty okay when it comes to not getting dead. So, I believe chat agrees with me. I'm opinionated today. If only Sorry Awkward were here, but they're on vacation, so... just spread a good word for me in the order. He rubs his cheek with his thumb. Interesting. Tell me about this enchantress. Because I always I'm nosy, I like to know people's opinions. Despite his casual nods, an angry note distorts his already hoarse voice. Eudocia lives by herself, surrounding her house with dangerous spells. Her talent knows no equal, yet she's a spider queen in the center of the web. He wipes his sweat off Soda Pop's side. She's the only shell she cares about and uses those who reach out to her. Keep your guard up. That has not been my experience with her, but okay. Deal. I mean, why not? Well, we'll see how good of a writer thou art. He glances at the door and lowers his voice. But there's some other stuff we need from thee. Stuff that takes subtlety and... He straightens up. Dedication to our cause. Yes, no kidding. Well, and that's the thing is like we gave her a far wider range for her golems to roam, which is fine, and they're maintaining the roads on the eastern area now. Like, that's huge. That's huge. That means that, doing the full circuit is much easier now. And everyone benefits. She's not actually hurting anyone. Their bias is actually more toxic and more hurtful than the enchantress in the east is, which is, very realistic, let's be honest. That is interesting to think, I count. This game is technically replayable. There are 3 other classes that you can choose besides fighter. We picked easy mode, which is also story mode. We also picked easy mode fighter, which is easy mode, really. So the game is very replayable, and the quests, I'm sure, do change a little bit depending on who you make friends with first and what direction you go in first. It reminds me of a slightly different sort of Dragon Age Origins setup where you actually can go to in multiple directions at once, and as much as there's a fairly linear path that these quests seem to go in, you actually can like bounce around all over the place a little bit until it narrows down at the end. So like I'm actually fairly pleased and impressed. I'm enjoying this game a lot. Yeah. I'm sure it would be a whole like not necessarily a whole different game. You won't get new occurrences or a lot of like new dialogue and stuff, but it would definitely change the style of your play, and be a lot harder on the fighting. So yeah. Anyway, how do we want to address the dedication to our cause part of this? Hey, I've got something else for you. Should we ask, what do you want me to do, which is number 1? Should we ask, if it's something shady, I'm out, which is number 2, a little aggressively, number 2. And last but not least is, and what cause is that? So, do we ask what, shady, I'm out, or cause? Count starts off the vote with 1. What do you want me to do? Trav, you want to weigh in on this vote? Trav says 3. Knowing his goal could affect our understanding of the task. That is a good point. Well, you guys have left it up to me yet again. What is this? Leaving things up to me. How dare you? Oh, Count, you don't have to flippy flop. It's fine. I always teasingly guilt chat for leaving it up to me. But yes, he's very convincing most of the time. Winter Fairy tends to side with him as well. But yeah, I was going to ask what causes that myself anyway, because I agree. I agree. He rubs his lips with his thumb, gathering his thoughts. I may not care much about some of the souls on this side of Hag Hills, but the tribe deserves our protection and guidance. Aught dark may come from the east, and soon. I want thee to investigate the threat. He wants me to keep an eye on Eudocia to see if she's actually a bad person. I appreciate you having reasons, whether or not they turn out to be good or bad. I appreciate you having a, hey, this is my thought. All right, what do you want me to do? Swear Swear thou wilt not betray our order. And what if? Are you gonna curse at me? I won't betray you. We could lie. I won't betray you. Or you're asking for too much. Count wants to be sassy. And if I do, what are you gonna do about it? That is the sassy. What are you gonna do? Curse me? Come on. But we could just be like, I won't betray you. Or we could say, dude, conspiracy theorist craziness, you are asking for too much. Or we could lie for the first time in our life. Like, literally the character sheet is glitched out. It doesn't even tell us none. It just has a blank. We've never lied. Sauron has never lied in his entire life. Count says lie. What? Well, we have no plans to, although if they screw with us, I consider the oath broken on their part. That's fair, Trav. Trav says 2, I won't betray you. Count says 3, lie about it. The very first time. We don't lie in this house, Count. Sauron has never lied a day in his life. I'm not... On Winter Fairy's behalf, I'm not even gonna pick the lie option. She'd be so mad at me. I won't betray you. His smile reveals his yellow teeth. I might in another run. I don't think I will play this on stream again, but I might do a lie run on my own someday. I don't know. It depends on what we do next. Like, as Trav knows, I let chat decide what I play next, just that we all have a good time. I mean, I don't ever offer anything I don't want to play, so there's that too. Anyway, I'll go back to reading. I should probably finish reading before I respond to people, but sometimes I get excited. What can I say? His smile reveals his yellow teeth. Once thou reacheth the enchantress's home, thou wilt find golems made of stone. I've heard they're larger than a lumberjack. Could tear thy pet to pieces. He looks away, talking to himself. Can they be defeated? Can they do aught without a direct order from their mistress? We need to prepare ourselves. Learn about them as much as thou canst. Give them a good look. Ask her a few subtle questions. And what will I get in return? Aught we don't share lightly, a secret of thy choice. He gestures for you to follow him outside, but bring us as much news about these creatures as thou canst. It's an all or not deal. Decima stays close to him, but walks backwards, observing your steps carefully. Interesting. Actually, no, the symbols on them are not for show. The symbols on them are orders that they know how to do. She just acts an order. Which is interesting. All right, the plague is done. Can I spend the night here? He scowls first at you, then at Decima, who observes the sky carelessly. After a few silent heartbeats, he lets out a grunt. Maybe in the storehouse. Do not think that I am going to look after thy horse, or cook for thee. All thee canst get is a roof for thy head. Oh no, that's already plenty. I appreciate it. Count, are you picking up Sorry Awkward's habits of tying my votes? Oh. I have known you for such a long time, you naughty person. Yeah, no, Trav, don't egg him on. The two of you are off. You guys. We're technically in public here. Knock it off. Anyway, yeah, it still does not do a lot of good to hit them, though probably best handled by another caster infusing them with rival Pneuma, which may cause them to blow up. I wouldn't... honestly speaking, attacking them is a bad idea, because they're stronger and they don't care. Like, they're just a pile of rocks. Attacking them is just going to get you killed, which is stupid. Anyway, we'll get to that conversation later. For now, yes, exploding them would count for destroying them, indeed. I'm not sure that would work, Count, but it's a good thought process. Because they're not just made out of little rocks, they're made out of big rocks. So the rune rocks being like a boulder in the middle is not going to be easily pickpocketed, and I'm not sure it would work. But I don't know. We've not tried. And honestly, that would probably just get whoever tried to pickpocket it smushed. Because rock don't give a damn. Anyway, how are we going to respond to this offer of a roof over our head if we happen to be in the area of the monastery? Do we say it's already plenty and I appreciate it, or we just go fine? Count says 1. Let's be polite. Trav, what do you think? Shall we be polite or shall we be whatever? Roof is enough. All right, yes, it's already plenty. I appreciate it. Just don't tell the others. All right. Well, with the plague gone, would you brew something that could help me in my journey? We need to restore our supplies first. He glances at the nearby garden. Most of its fruits and leaves are already plucked. But there's something I can offer thee. Bring me a cave ear, a mushroom that grows in humid chambers underground, and snake bait, an orange flower from the deep woods. though some smoke it for pleasure. On their own, they're poisonous. Together, even more so, he snorts, but I can turn it into a dust that sharpens one's senses. Good for combat. Oh, we already gave away one of them. Oh well. In one night, I could prepare the doses. I could prepare 3 doses or so, but use them with care. Once the pneuma loosens, they'll weaken your shell. Okay, so we just don't have the snake bait, which we can find probably in. We can probably still find it in the heart of the forest, but we've also given some to Eudocia already. I believe this is the reason why Sorry Awkward is like, don't give her the flower. Oh well. What do you know about the necromancers in the north? He rubs the liver spots on your forehead with his bandaged hand, looking with short companion. This and that. I saw Orantes' ritual. He strengthens his weak spells with blood magic. Or let's return to my other questions. Now remember, this is not the monks of this order are not a fighting force. That does not mean they don't send for a fighting force from Hovlaban, but they are not a fighting force. Just FYI. So, how do we respond? Do we want to actually tell him what we've seen? Because we have seen it. Or do we want to worry about this later? 1 or 2, ritual or return? You guys tell me. What are we doing? You guys are leaving it up to me? I don't want it to be left up to me. Here's the thing. We're druids, so we're not a big fan of the undead. We're pagans. We just like all the rest of everybody else do not feel like the undead need to exist. It's a bad idea. It's a problem. We do understand though that White Marshes is doing the least well out of all the rest of the villages in this area, in this peninsula, and that they have taken to using the extreme measures of controlling undead, awoken corpses, to attempt to have a workforce that can garden, that can build, etc., and so on. Do we agree with Orentius' his plan in this? No. Do we even know what he's planning? Also, no. We haven't spent enough time in White Marshes to gain enough trust of Helvius to get a conversation with Orentius, or B, gain enough trust for Theresis, the druid nearby, for that either. Of which we do need to go talk to him because his mentor in the south, the forest speaker, was like, "Hey, just maybe go say I'm sorry I failed him." So we still have some things some messages to send, and quests to turn in. But we're not very happy about the undead. We also have said, hey, Theus, we're not going to go attack White Marshes. I would like to figure out if I can undo this problem in a less, attacky way, which is telling for the ruins of Steep House in the south, because I actually think that it was Howler's Dell that attacked them. And then the herd, and possibly just ravaged through their fields, stole all their shit, and the wrath of the herds came down upon Steep House in the end because of it. And that was 10 years ago. So I actually think that Theus's ambition is probably what happened to Steep House, which is what the ruins in the south are now called, Steep House. Not good. Absolutely not good. We do know that a couple of the survivors of Steep House have ended up in Glaucia's band. A couple of them have ended up in Gale Rocks and in creeks even, possibly in White Marshes. We also think that perhaps some of the undead in White Marshes is from Steep House. Like we've heard that they've been scavenging more corpses than their own people. So that this whole necromancy thing has been going on for a while now, before we got here. But they've not been attacking any other town. We do not know what caused the plague in Old Pagos. That's a fairly recent affair. And we haven't been back to Old Pagos to ask questions yet, because I've been trying to let them sort themselves out, celebrate, whatever, before we go in and be like, hey, how's it going, guys? So we do need to get back to that at some point. But yeah, it's a whole thing. But what do we want to say? Do we want to tell Ailey about this, or do we want to wait till later until we've done more with White Marshes itself? That's the question. Also, welcome in, viewers. If you're new, we're playing Roadwarden by Moral Anxiety Games, and anyone is welcome to vote in chat. It is optional, though, so feel free to join the conversation. Yeah, Trav, it absolutely could. They do live in the marshes. And so long as the fogs didn't touch them, like if they got sucked into the marsh, and so long as the fog didn't touch them, then they wouldn't have risen on their own necessarily as well. So it's quite possible that they have acquired generations of White Marshes dead to do their job. It could also be that they've ranged around as well. We don't know the full story. We have not spent enough time in White Marshes to find out. It is a peat marsh primarily, yes. So the Thurstus runs the peat bricks for White Marshes. So, but anyways, back to the vote at hand. 1 or 2, ritual or return. Counts as 1. Yeah, peat is very good at preserving things. Trav says also 1. All right, we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk about it. All right, here we go. During your report, Ailey avoids Decima's piercing gaze. That would clarify some doubts. His tribe was always weak on Numa, but from what thou sayest, he's not a sorcerer, but a madman. He finally looks at his companion. His voice grows stronger. And we'll need to take it to our prelate. Oh, well, that's another thing we can talk about to the prelate. Let's return to my other questions. I don't promise you any answers. Do we consider asking him to read Theus' letter to us? Because we don't read. Winter Fairy, welcome in! Made it! Oh, I'm so sorry about the power. I hope that it stabilizes soon. So if you jump in and out, I'm not going to worry about it. But welcome. I hope Miss Ma'am is going down for naps reasonably well today. I hope Caleb is well as well. We always love Caleb in this house. It could just be a grid problem count. It's not going to reach me because I'm in a different state, but yeah. So do we want to find out what Theus has put in her letter to us? Or I should say our letter to Hovlavin, or the letter to Hovlavin, or not? Yeah, because Count is very much north of us. But the weathers in our 3 separate areas do not necessarily always connect, Count. In this case, I don't think it does. Because power's stable where I'm at. And I'm in between. Alrighty then. Well, that's 2 votes for ask, just in case Theus is trying to screw us. But we did get this letter prior to her being pissed at us, so it might be okay, actually. But it also could say, kill the person who gives you this letter. We don't know. She's ambitious. But I believe that means we should ask. All right, we're asking. You frown. The city officials may not be happy about receiving a broken seal. All right, we have the option of, could you read this for me? I'll keep this letter closed until I reach the city, or I need to think about it. This is our, hey, you may not want to do this. Winterberry votes, maybe not. Count goes, maybe not. But in a different way. Trav also says too. All right, we're going to keep this letter closed until we reach the city. We will be respectful. That's it. About the things you asked me to do. I'm listening. I spoke to Eudocia about her sentinels. Your report takes you a good few minutes, especially since Ailey spares you no questions. After you mention that the golems are meant to be available for purchase, he gave Decima a worried look. She's inviting a dragon, he says in the end. He walks up and down the path with hands behind his back, like a commander preparing themselves for battle. No tribe could stop a squad of these. Most troubling news. Awful. I took a closer look at the golems. You describe their looks and mention the unusual engravings you noticed on the larger rocks. Ailey listens carefully, but it takes him a few heartbeats to respond. Such signs may be dangerous. He wipes his lips with a bandaged hand. I've read about the city golems. They're different. We may need help from an experienced fighter, but we lack such souls in the order. He finally lowers his hand, observing a child who hums a simple melody at the edge of the cliff. I've learned more about the engraving. Ailey's eyes are wide open. He and Decima exchange telling glances. He rubs his bandaged hand. If those signs work, who knows what kind of words she can select next. His voice is tense but hoarse, forcing him to cough. Take supplies, maybe? Hunt humans? I spoke with an experienced huntress about ways to fight golems. You shared Dalit's instructions. The monk rests his hand behind the rope around his waist. What thou sayest mirrors what I've read. Good job, Warden. The knowledge of the codices is worth more than dragon bones, but one learns to doubt it. Our prelate says the second scribe is the first one to be trusted. I've told you quite a lot about these creatures already. He spares you a kind smile. You did. I'll speak with the prelate soon. Let me know when thou art ready to collect thy reward. I will. We haven't brought back the quills, clearly, but we could collect our reward, or we could wait till we bring back the quills. I don't... Winter Fairy says reward. Let's do it. Let's get that secret. What does the rest of chat think? We may need to think about this. Please, chat. We do. I even got a achieve for that. 1 is grayed out. Well, I suppose 1 could be reward and 2 is no. We'll think about it. We might get a better selection of secrets after the quills. That's good. That's a good point. But Winter Fairy wants reward and Count wants reward, so I guess we're getting that reward. Let's get that reward. What overwhelms thee? Okay. There is Asteron. We may want that. What is it that you really do in this place? How can I find the tribe of the Green Mountain? We actually already know how to get there. Is the coast really as difficult to navigate through as people think, or what happened to the ruined village in the south? So we already have an interesting. We kind of know where Asteron went already. We already kind of know where he went. Asking what they do is interesting, but I don't think that it's ultimately useful. We already know how to find the tribe of the Green Mountain. We just haven't been there yet. The coast could be more useful information. And what happened to the ruined village in the south is something that we already want to know more about. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, because 6 just says end conversation. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Astron, do, tribe, navigate, village. Those are the key words. What are we doing, chat? What are we doing? Looks like Winter Fairy says ask about Astron. It kind of really is 4 or 5, Count. The coast is likely connected to Astron. His boat is he is boat related after all. Know the other. Yeah. The village. Trav says 5. Winter Fairy says 1. Count. What are you gonna pick? Please. Or anyone else. Anyone else can weigh in as well. The coast will lead us to him better than 1 will. Okay, so are we asking a coast? Does this mean that it's left up to me? If any of my lurkers are not subscribed, you will get an ad in about a minute. That is the way of the world. So just FYI, heads up, there will be an ad. You will miss some stuff. I have inadvertent subscriber chat for a minute and a half. You guys are leaving it up to me. Why? Why are you doing this? I am going to ask about the ruined village. I think I can learn more about Astron elsewhere. I'm going to find out what this is all about. He looks at the huge hourglass and rubs his hands together, gathering his thoughts for a good minute. It happened 10 years ago. His voice is solemn but entwined with remorse. At that time, Thais of Howler's Dell offered the tribes to unite under her command. Taxes for the services of her guards. She can spare a strong bunch of people. Thou wouldst need dozens of armed people or the wrath of the herds to break through Howler's walls anyway. The people of Steep House were the first ones to refuse, even though they had been the closest allies of Howler's. In return, Theas's guards and druids made an example of them. The first raid in recent memory. Ooh, I was right. That bitch. Steep House surrendered without a fight, but the mayor didn't know when to stop and almost turned that place into ruins. The locals had to cut all the trees from their garden to fix their broken houses and turned a clearing into farmlands to have any crops, but nature had already been pushed too much. Before the end of the season, Steep House was attacked again, this time by the beasts. Only a few souls survived. You try to ask him for more details, but he coughs in his bandaged hand and gestures for you to step back. People want to forget those days, Warden. Nah, they agree those days ought to be forgotten. Asking for the truth won't do thee any favors. Thou knowest what thou must. I have a feeling that Ailey is one of the survivors. That's quite a tale. Ooh. Steep House. Having discovered the truth, you could force the people of Howler's Dell to confront their past, though they may not take kindly to your threats and requests. The more you'll learn about their deeds and conflicts, the more tools you'll have to use against them, if they will listen to me at all. Oh boy. He rubs his bandaged wrist. I should take it directly to the guild, but to prove my goodwill, I'm ready to tell you about the copper vein I found in the north. Do we want to give the monks the copper vein? We definitely don't want to give it to Howler's Dell now. These guys have turned out to be assholes. Yeah, Thais is an ambitious woman. No, we knew that the herds attacked because the current damage on the houses are definitely from animals. What we didn't know was how much people were involved in that attack. Now we know. Have some ASMR of water pouring. There we go. I hope that was enjoyable for everyone. Yes, hail hydrate. I do have a hydrate button. I have made it somewhat expensive so you guys can't spam it. I've seen hydrate spam in other chats and it's terrifying. But yes, hydrate reminders would be happy. I even have one for me deciding without a vote for the future. So I've made it expensive though, because you know how much I don't like making choices. Creeks, we could do creeks for the copper. But we could give it to the monks. I don't really want to give it to the monks, but we could. It's just an option. We could also ask, will the prelate agree to meet with me now? So, do we want to go talk to the prelate, guys? Or do we want to get out of here? Because we got things to do. Count says, let's talk to the prelate. Yeah, we have 1, 2, 3, or 4, although 3 we've already kind of decided. Oh no, Winter Fairy. You have a hydrate emoji. Go for it. All right. We will try to talk to the prelate. We've done a lot. He adjusts his hood. The time is right. Follow me into the temple. It won't take long. You join Ailey in front of the entrance. You run your eyes over the harsh gray floor, sparsely covered by tufts of grass and mushrooms. Only a few steps separate you from the darkness. Take a wrong step and thou wilt break thy neck. His quiet voice echoes through the corridor, but there are also other sounds reaching you from the depths. The repetitive hits of a hammer and chisel, as well as a distant pickaxe. The man doesn't look at you. Hand on my shoulder, don't let go. Do we grasp his robe firmly, or do we touch his shoulder gently? Firm or gentle? 1 or 2. Chat, you know what to do. Please, tell me true, chat. What is it that we will be doing? Winter Fairy says firm. What does the rest of chat think? Firm or gentle? Ailey has not been the nicest of people, but he's also just kind of a paranoid asshole to begin with. So he's been nicer than some. 2, follow instructions. He's a more solid object than some cloth. That's fair. So Trav says gentle. Count, you're the tiebreaker. Firm or gentle? What shall it be? Do we muss his robes, or do we treat him kindly? That is the question. We will treat him with kindness. We will touch his shoulder gently. You leave the light behind you, and your pace slows down. Decima's steps are following by the sweeping sound of her robe. For a few breaths, your heel hits the solid rock, then move onto wooden logs. The echo of the occasional creaks is worthy of a wraith. Your grasp as well when you stumble over a rope, but Ailey's confident hand saves you from falling to the floor. After a minute or two, you get used to the scent of soggy beans. The gentle draft makes you think of a stream, and you focus your ears. The hum of water is weak, but once noticed, unmistakable. Counting your steps leads you to nothing. You don't make any sharp turns. Following the rounded corridor at one point, the monk grabs your free fingers and makes you touch the smooth wall. Watch your steps. you hear the horse whisper, then walk down the stairs carefully. Another minute goes by, and it happens again, and then again. Almost there, Ailey stops in place. All you can do is wait. You recognize the sound of him opening his bag. He turns your hand around, palm up, and covers it with cold, soft balm. Put it on your eyelids. His voice is confident. It will help, but not for long. Don't walk away. You rub your eyelids, catching the scent of snow and tallow candles. I look around. Oh wow, that's cool. That is so cool. I love the art in this game. For a few heartbeats, the brightness is overwhelming, even after you cover your eyes. But the sensation fades away. Everything around you turns gray. The walls, your companions, even your very skin are now monuments made of ash. The hollow mountain has the shape of a cone. You step back, away from the edge of the narrow wooden platform, only to then approach it and look down. The magic balm is strong. It allows you to spot maybe 24 layers of scaffolding. You spot another hooded figure a couple of floors below you. It holds the chisel against the wall, hitting it with the hammer. Their confident hands maintain the tiring rhythm. Inspect the engravings behind me. You can't tell their age, but the cuts are deep. Their letters larger than your hand, and some of them are filled with old, dry paint, although to you, like everything else, it looks gray. Read it aloud. Read it out loud. You hear a voice coming from your left, not much louder than the distant humming of water. I look toward the one who speaks. I don't know how. Few travelers can. Their voice starts like a dying breath, but then shifts, resembling an oration delivered by a priest. They heard of Samara's deeds and believed her, for her soul carried no lies. They followed her north, like the rite had told her, and built houses of wood in the land of 3 lakes. The rite taught Samara new tools and new traps, and her children and grandchildren have never seen hunger, for their land was tamed. The person in a monk's robe is sitting on a bench, covering themselves with a headless pelt. They're short, wrinkled, skinny as if they haven't eaten in years. They sit still, with their head leaning against the wall, eyes closed and hands folded. Dost thou know what these words are? Not really. They have the accent of Havlavan elders, but their lips are struggling to utter any sound. It's from Wright's tablets. They are the source of our knowledge, and what allowed us to build villages taller than trees. We study these stories every day to shape the land into what it ought to be. They cock their head to the side. Their chin is shaking. I just recited a part of the Tribe of Leaves. The tribe started as foragers and fruit pickers, too afraid to hunt, with no faith to guide them outside of their cave. But the rite inspired them with the truth of what they were and of what they could become. They helped Adir build one of the 10 cities, and their blood and memory now remains in each of us. I'm exhausted. Their breathing remains silent, but their chest starts to rise and fall. But I wanted thee to see this place. So I am seeing it. What is this place exactly? Yep, they are definitely that. Good thought, Trav. Good thought. One day, these walls will hold all of Wright's tablets. Maybe in 5 years, maybe in 25. These ancient caves used to be covered by painted hands and beasts, but we scraped the walls clean, giving way to the truth. You flinch. It's not the first time you hear about Wright's servants willing to destroy the relics left behind by the ancestors. The prelate raises their hands by an inch, but their voice remains monotonous. The work went slowly, and we abandoned our goals, but then the war tore the 10 cities to pieces. They're wheezing, fighting for air. It made us realize how crucial our duty is. The parchment will burn, the wood covers will rot, the golden plates will be stolen, but these caves lasted for more generations than we can count. They will outlast every page, every teacher. They raise their voice. The library in stone will be here, ready to teach our offspring, the final stronghold of the truth. As long as there's one soul who can read the Adir's tongue, there will be hope. A long pause. Ailey looks at you expectantly, rubbing his hands together. Decima stares at you like an eagle. So why am I here? What do you expect me to do? One of us came here from the city 5 years ago and told us many things about her home. Thy city lacks grain and wood and parchment. The Unites grow poor. They raise their hand to wipe saliva from their mouth, taking longer and longer pauses. Thou art not here to ward the roads, but to prepare it for thy masters. They will bring death and pillage. They stretch out their hand, palm up. Tell them about the library, that it needs their protection, that once we'll complete it, we'll give it away. Just let old Pagos be in peace. Their hand lands on their stomach. Their chin rests on their chest. They are gasping for air. Protect this place. Wow, that is a choice. So, to respond to this, we could say, number one, fine, I'll pass along your message, essentially telling Hovlavin about the library in stone and the followers of right that maintain it. Two, we could lie and say, I'll do everything I can. The very first lie we have ever lied in our entire lives as Selron. Or three, you ruined the legacy of the ancient tribes. You deserve no sympathy. They scraped the walls of the pictures, of the information, of the ancestors of this area. And we are pagans, so that hurt us. Because that is what our ancestors did, and they desecrated a prior library to create this one. That is the choice we have before us. 1, 2, or 3. Message, lie, ruined. What does chat think? Please, chat, tell me. What do we think? Count, you are not incorrect. That is absolutely what they did. They removed old knowledge to chisel new knowledge in its place. Count started off the vote with 1, and Winterfairy has agreed. I mean, there's nothing we can do to fix what they did. But hearing that they scraped the walls did hurt us. But they did replace a library with a new library. So are we as upset as we could have been? I don't know. Trav, do you want to weigh in on this? I always appreciate your thoughts. Trav says, I don't know. They removed what they thought was error to replace it with their own. They may also be wrong. On the whole, their goal is worthy, although their implementation is appalling. But with the different styles, I'm not sure we'd agree with what was here either. I mean, that's true. It's not the information of our ancestors, because we're from farther south. It is the information of the ancestors of the north that they scraped from the walls to cover in one of the books, or maybe all 3 of the books of the Order of Right, or I should say the Religion of the Right. They replaced a library with a different library. Being angry about it is not going to bring back that library. That is the reality of the situation. So being angry about it, it's not really going to get anywhere. Technically speaking, Hovlavin has 3 religions running through it, all that follow somewhat the right. So yeah, we said we would be kind to this one. So we will pass on the message. We're definitely not going to lie. We don't do that here. The prelate nods gently, resting. Ailey clears his throat. I thank thee in their name. Let's get back to while the ointment is still working. He gestures for you to follow him, but seeing the world only in grays takes getting used to. You place steps carefully and climb the stairs on all fours. The monk continues, Thou canst ask me about one of our secrets as a reward, but dost not share what thou hast learned here with any of the tribes. We ought to keep our duty a secret. So, we could get a secret or we could get some ointment. One or two, secret or ointment. Note that the only place we'd really need the ointment, we've already taken care of, and that was the tunnel. We've already dealt with the tunnel. We don't necessarily need the ointment anymore. We don't intend to go to any dark places, save here. It would help us sneak into here, I guess, but why would we want to? And we could get another secret, which might be more useful to us. It's more information. We like information in this house. But the vote has started with 2, ointment. What does the rest of chat think? Count wants to ask about the shore. So I guess there's a vote for 1 and a vote for 2. Hey, Winter Fairy, what are we doing? Are we getting another secret or are we taking ointment? She might be AFK with her kids. Does this mean I have to choose? Ugh, you guys. I'm taking a secret. I don't think we need the ointment. I think where we could have used the ointment, we've already used it. Other things for. We bought a lantern. We don't really need the ointment. Ta-da! You move without a word, leaving behind the sounds of steps, hammers, and the stream. Your eyes lose their sharpness slowly, but also restore their ability to perceive colors. Before you reach the mouth of the cavern, Ailey lets you grab his shoulder again. After getting outside, you take a couple of breaths. The monk absently heads towards the storehouse, waiting for Decima to join him. When asked about the prelate's sleep, she spares her companion a sad shrug. Finally, he meets your eyes and puts on a gentle smile. Oh, wow. It's happier now. I want to collect my reward, a secret. All right. Is the coast really as difficult to navigate through as people think? Yes and no. The city ships are too large, too heavy. The coastal rocks are like teeth, but the fissures from Gale Rocks cut some of them down. One needs a vessel small enough to fit through, but it's possible, even with heavier cargo. An outsider won't reach the land from the deep waters, but there are guides who can handle that route. Interesting. Okay, we haven't earned any more secrets, so it's time to travel. I'm going to travel to the old forest garden and forage if I can, and then I'm going to head to the peat fields. That's the plan. Old Pagos needs a couple more days still. A falcon rests on the broken signpost, but soars into the sky before you get closer. For a few minutes it flies above you, maybe waiting for you to leave. There are some ripe fruits in sight. We will get plants. Most of what you find are sweet pears and overripe sorb fruits, which is fine. Inventory. What are we at? We've got not much. Okay. Let us travel again. We are headed to the peat fields. Yeah, I think he learned the path out from the shore and went. So we don't know. I bring a message from your old teacher. Oh, I should probably read this part. Frogs fill the bogs with their songs and hide among the puddles as you ride down the path. Thyrsus is at the edge of a scarp, greeting you with a polite nod. The creepers idly hang from his arms, resting on the ground. I bring a message from your old teacher. He listens to it without a word, then reaches for one of his bracelets, playing with the wooden beads. He grunts a few times, and his eyes grow absent. I was happy when I got there, you know? I'm not a loafer. I was ready to learn all their ways. Back then, Priest Orentius saw any spells coming from pagans as disgusting in Wright's eyes. His tone swings between mocking and begrudging, but I didn't let it go, and the others outvoted him. Those were very different days. What can you sell me? I need this. We need this. We're taking the withering dust to create a path because we don't want to waste too much time on the road. That's what I came for, and I need to meet with Orentus. Okay. He wants the cloak. We'll return to this later. Okay. I was curious. We need the path open to the White Marshes. We're spending the night in White Marshes again. Then you know what you need. What I need you to do. Maybe a roasted fish. So we have 2 rations. We have a roasted fish. We don't have enough wild plants that he would take, but the fish might. Let's try the fish. Because I was smart and roasted the fish. Maybe a roasted fish? Better than what I've got. He smiles with his yellow teeth and waits for you to throw the fish into his basket. He puts it back on the bench, then snaps his fingers. Done. All right. So, to White Marshes we go. He will enjoy his fishy meal. The village is filled with the unbearable noise of construction, yet the undead laborers take no breaks, don't gasp for air, don't stop to look around. The locals avoid them or scowl at them whenever they get close. I should tell the woman about her pouch. She's just at the edge of the yard, keenly observing you, and as you approach her, she once again leads you further away from the gate, this time behind a turf house. She reaches out to you with an open palm and speaks quietly. May the right bless you, stranger. So, we have 2 different lies here. We could lie and say, I'm sorry, the pouch was completely rotten and there were no dragon bones to pick, just snails, keeping the singular dragon bone we found. We could lie and say you were correct. Here's your 10 dragon bones. We could apologize and say I just wanted to tell you I'm working on it, or the pouch was torn and rotten. Here, the only dragon bone I found. We could just tell her the truth. Winter Fairy starts off the vote with 2 because we do not lie in this house. Trav says she won't be happy. I think she was counting on it. I am tempted to have our first lie be a lie of, here you go, here's your money, because we can afford to give them to her. And she clearly needs them. I'm tempted. But the vote in chat is 2. We do not lie in this house. So I'm not even going to outvote chat. I've done it before, but I'm not going to. Here, the only dragon bone I found. She looks at the sky, then the ground. For 2 heartbeats, she can't stop herself from revealing the despair in her eyes, but she then adjusts her headscarf, takes a deep breath, and moves her shoulders. I have not even a fistful of blueberries to thank you, stranger, but I'll tell the rest of the village you are a trustworthy messenger. If anyone asks, hardly anyone does around here. She hobbles away, splashing mud with every step. Did she even take the dragon bone? What? Yes, she did. Okay. I return to my bundles. You notice that all the flies land either on the locals or on your palfrey. They avoid the awoken shells without exception. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it was still a lie to be like, here's your money, but we told the truth. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, as much as she was not happy about it. So she'll tell the rest of the people, whoever asks, that we are a trustworthy type. I am going to approach Valens, our poor, heartbroken Valens, because he offers you a nut. I have some supplies I don't need. This is where we can sell various foods for dragon bones. We don't have enough to sell anything, though. All right, farewell. May happen another time. Well, let's go to Helvius. A sudden shout cuts the sky, but no one pays attention to it. It turns out a small boy got scared by the quiet approach of an awoken shell. Oh, that poor kid. I feel so sorry for him. He meets your eyes, waiting for you to speak. Yeah, it is hot. It is the middle of summer. It sucks. I've helped to purge the plague in Old Pagos. Maybe with time the things will return to normal. Did? He frowns. And how, I ask? Not even Orentius could help them. You start your long tale, but the mayor stops paying attention after just a few minutes, pressing the cold, blunt side of his axe to his cheek. Some dangerous pagan spells. Knowing the curses of the druids, the village may not last till spring, or maybe Theus is going to collect the debt now. When she mentions pagans, you can't stop yourself from peeking at the loud undead shells. Where's to sell? We're gonna check this. Yeah, no, we're keeping that. We could tell about Theus. We're not very happy with Theus right now. We could talk about Glaucia, because we do know where the hideout is, but we don't really want the undead going and attacking people. We could talk about the woman who asked, but we finished her quest. What do we do, chat? Theus, Glaucius, or the lady? I mean, she doesn't have much more than a dragon bone, though. For those of you who are not subscribed, there is an ad starting soon. That is your warning. It's gonna hit you soon. We could try, Count. Trav says Glaucia. Count says the lady we just finished a quest with. Winter Fairy, what do you think? Well, we're gonna try this. I just hope that she still gets to keep her dragon bone, I guess. You meet his gaze, both harsh and condescending. You've no doubt he won't take any accusations lightly. A woman from your village asked me to bring her some lost savings from the east. I thought you should know about this, or I don't want her to suffer any consequences. I try to forget the whole thing, or I need to think about it. Do we tell him? Do we forget? Yeah. I know. I want to help these people. I just don't know how. We need somebody's trust. 3 just means that we can continue thinking about this option. 1 ends it in possibly gaining trust of Helvius, 2 ends us being able to ever talk about her again. 2 helps her, 1 helps Helvius, 3 just lets us consider telling or not telling about it again. Yeah, alright. Consensus is drop the thread. Alright, I don't want her to suffer any consequences. I mean, she got a whole dragon bone out of it. There really wasn't that much. We could sabotage Theus's plans because we're not happy with Theus right now and say you need to strengthen your guards. Or we could anger Glaucia, but maybe help earn his trust by talking about where Glaucia's people are, which may in fact cause the undead to go gallivanting across the heart of the woods, basically a little bit south, and attacking Glaucia's band, which would be bad. Count says Theus's plan. What does the rest of chat think? Trav says Glaucia. Oh no. Winter Fairy, help! Theus or Glaucia? Who are we tattling on? Help! Count and Trav are just tying the vote all day today. Help! We could do both, yes. I've not even given that as an option. We could screw over both of them. Theus is more angry at us. Glaucia is just angry in general, but willing to talk to us. Like, our whole plan is to go talk to Oryntius and attempt to be like, what's your deal, dude? Maybe don't do that. Well, Winter Fairy says Theus, so we're gonna sabotage Theus because she's a bitch. We know she's a bitch. You tell him everything you've learned from her, though he has little patience and keeps glancing towards Oryntius's hut. Between his questions, his leg flinches a bit as if he's stopping himself from running away. I don't know what she did to you that you now go against her, he breathes heavily, cracking his knuckles and raising his poleaxe. But we'll be ready for her. We avoid giving weapons to our workers, but it's time for some changes. He tells everyone in sight to prepare for a gathering and then selects a few people to spread the news. You, on the other hand, think about Theus. Mentioning what you did may not be the safest idea. That bridge is already burned. I don't need to mention it to her. Okay. Still can't talk to Oryntius. Yeah. Like, our plan is to try and, like, be like, we don't need to fight with each other. The undead are useful, but maybe not do that anymore, dude. Helvius has shown himself to be a rather, I want to say, aggressive person, but I think he's more scared than anything else. Like, he's clearly in charge because people are too scared of him and his physical strength to act against him, but I think he's actually a coward. I'm not gonna lie. I think he's if actually confronted by someone who has some skill, I think he will probably not fare well. But telling White Marshes they need to defend themselves, we'll see how it pans out. We're making choices. That's what's happening. So we still can't talk to Oryntius. We still need more. Do we want to rat out Glaucia's band, who's been picking on White Marshes? We already had the option to side with Theus and go to war with my White Marshes. We're kind of siding with the underdogs at this point. I don't know. This is a blind playthrough. I've never played this before. We're making choices. We are sleeping here tonight, but we need to talk to Orentius regardless, and we have 2 routes to do it, and we don't have enough for either of them to let us talk to him. So selling where, like, I don't think we have enough. The only wares we would be selling would be our crossbow bolts. We have 3 that we can sell. That's it. Just 3. Just 3. This is the choices, guys. We could stop here and do this later, but we've got other things that we could do. I don't necessarily want to piss off Glaucia right away. But at the same time, like, gaining her trust means screwing over somebody else as well. So this is what it's come down to: is who do we screw over? And I believe that at least half of chat doesn't even like Glaucia anyway. All right, Winter Fairy says leave. Count agrees. We're out. We need to sleep. Sleep, sleep, sleep. You have to rest on your own blanket. The never-ending sound of the wall construction and walking skeletons won't help you catch good sleep. With Astron's cloak, you can ease your shell a bit, though. So, there's that. They're kind of, sort of, bandits. Their banditry is contained banditry. They've got their reasons. Ooh, we're getting a cool dream tonight. Let's get into this. You are in the labyrinth of alleys in Steep House, which shifts after every step. You wander by the blooming gardens, burning houses, laughing newlyweds, cut off limbs, fresh hair pies, chewed bones, carts loaded with barrels, and falling trees. You're sitting at a table in front of the Ape Ale Inn, surrounded by laughing skeletons. Theus, naked and covered in blood and ashes, holds your hand, forcing you to stuff your mouth with raw meat from a bottomless bowl. Every bite, tasting like the metal of an old key, burns your mouth, but you can't scream. The unyielding grasp brings pain and delight in equal measure, and you wouldn't dare to try and escape it. The smoke coming from your roasting flesh starts to fill your eyes, but they have no tears to spare. You wake up and reach for your water skin so you can rinse the ash from your hands. It takes you a few heartbeats before you realize where you are. How do we respond to this very exceptionally weird dream? Those monsters, if there was justice in this world, they would face the gravest punishment, is 1. The villagers wouldn't have agreed to it if they knew what was to come. Theus lied to them, and she's the one who bears the responsibility, is 2. I've only seen one side of the story. I'm sure the people of Howlers felt they were justified and things just got out of control, which is 3, or another stupid dream and I go back to sleep, which is 4. So, 1, justice. 2, Theus. 3, justified. 4, sleep. 1, 2, 3, or 4. How do we feel about what was done to Steep House now that we're processing it a bit? Yep. Only a little bit of murder. Trav. I'm feeling bitey, too. Theus has made some enemies in my chat. Goodness. I guess this means that the next time we're in Howler's Dell, we're gonna shout down Theus. Ooh, that's gonna be spicy. So the 2s are in the lead. We got 4 viewers, so if anyone else wants to weigh in. Trav says 3-ish. I doubt that anyone planned on the herds attacking. The raid did get out of hand, but Steep House survived and was repairing. Howlers lacked discipline. I'm gonna agree with the twos. I actually think that Theus decided something and talked her people into it. They would not have done it otherwise, which is a 3-ish, but at the same time, the only reason why Steep House ended up being hit by the herds afterwards is because they were trying to repair their city. And so they just reaped, trying to survive, and got hit with the herds afterwards because they pissed off nature. I don't know. Her daughter would have been a child when it happened, so possibly not. It's been 10 years since then. So she was probably a child in single digits when all this went down. But it also may have started the reason why she's not very happy with her mother. It's interesting. I'm going to go with 2. Theus needs to be knocked down a bit. Even though the village seems to be on its legs, most shells you spot are dead, just as occupied as they were during the night. Yeah, no. Dang it. We cannot help here. I need to go talk to this guy. We also need to go to Creeks. Yeah, let's go to Creeks and talk to them about the copper. If we can. If we have the option. And then we will go deal with the guy that we sent for the cabin. We might... Yeah, see, the copper ore is there. And then we might go checking out the Tribe of the Green Mountain. Because we've yet to do that. Fill out more of the map. Alright, we're going to Creeks. Yep, we do have someone strongly to side with, her daughter and the druids. Yeah, Elpis knows that Theus is out of control. A guard leaning from the watchtower warmly welcomes you with a shout, though the winds distort the words. Let's make a little bit of money. Which is going to eat up some time, so we may not quite get to the guy until later, but that's okay. Oh, the letter is from Theus to Hovlavin. We would have to end the game to do that. We already have that option available. We could just take... Oh, what is her name? Tulia. We could just go, hey, Tulia, let's go back to Hovlavin and head back. We already have that option. So, yeah. I'm gonna get some money. A few hunters would like to get to know the gargoyle-infested forest that grows nearby. This will take you an entire day and make it dangerous. We're going to be very hungry afterwards. Let's deal with the hunger first, actually. Nom. Alright. That will help us. We're all good. 5 out of 5, 4 out of 4, 3 out of 4. Good. Alright, let's do it. We're working for 2. Well, not end everything. It just ends the game. I believe it is an end game option. I think there might actually be 2 or 3 end game options. I'm not entirely sure what they are, but I'm trying to do all the quests. So I don't really want to end the game yet. But I do know that returning to Hovlavin is, I believe. This is a blind playthrough. Maybe it would let us to come back and finish things. I very much doubt it, but we've already gotten to the option of Tulia is in Pell to the north, waiting for us to decide to go back to Hovlavin. So I think another ending for the game is actually finding Esteron wherever he's gone off to, at the islands that he's sailed towards. And I'm pretty sure Dai is definitely one of them. So yeah, I believe there's at least 3 end games, and we have already gotten one of them as an option, and dying is of course always an option, so there you go. But we're gonna work and spend the day doing nice things for Creeks, because we like Creeks. We could retire to Creeks, it would be fine. It turns out you don't have to do much. You get the job done quickly and with little difficulty. Yay. We're gonna get cleaned up because we are gross. That's much better. And then we're gonna talk to Ela. He's testing a new chair, which wobbles a bit too much. He smiles and puts away his tools. Welcome back, friend. Good to see that you stay safe on the roads. I've helped to clear the plague from Old Pagos. It may not be a safe place, but it will survive. Ela's grin is soon followed by his raised voice. And you're serious? Everyone? Everyone! He addresses other people working near the square. Tell the others, the plague is gone, we're safe. After his eyes return to you, he clears his throat and turns away again. Old Pagos is safe! You explain briefly what happened, and he spends a good few moments considering the old druid's part. I wouldn't expect someone from Howlers to help another soul in need, he says while his hand clenches the bottom part of his cloak. Not since they're ruled by a tyrant. It's not the first time this forest speaker has protected the peninsula from a grave threat. He smiles at you. And so did you, I guess. Yes. I mean, they still need to sort out what started the plague, whatever it was, but we'll get to that. Ela's pretty awesome. He wants to just be a specialized carpenter. He's very sweet. I like him. Not as much as I like Foggy, of course, but Foggy's from Creeks as well, so they're a nice bunch of people. Also, I've made some additional progress on the Eastern Path. There were even more issues? I'm listening. We still need to deal with that. I made a deal with Eudocia. Her sentinels are going to look after the roads that surround the watchtower. The description of the golems make him tighten his shoulder cloak. When he grabs the casket, he holds it tightly. And you're sure they aren't going to attack anyone? Seeing your unconvinced smile, he counts down 3 bones without looking at them, lost in his thoughts. Do we take them from his hand and leave it at that, or do we consider that one day he'll be grateful for what I've done? Because we've met Eudocia. She really does not want to create an army. She just needs help. She just wants to live by herself and have useful helpers. Like, that is useful helpers that she can sell one day to be useful for other people. Like, that's her plan. That's her goal. She does not want to be a bother to anyone or hurt anyone. She's not that mean. Everyone's all suspicious of her, but she's like, I just want to do my thing and maybe make that thing useful for others. Like, she's actually kind of nice. So, 1 or 2, chat. What will we do? I'm counting on all of you. 1 is hand. 2 is grateful. You guys tell me. How do we respond to his paranoia? Or caution? I suppose for him it's caution. Winter Fairy says 1. Really, it's about what orders are written on them. And I honestly believe that she will... I think either way we get the money. I just think for one of them, we just take the money, and for the second one, we say something while we take the money. Like, I think that's the choice here. But Chad has said 1. Take them from his hand. All right, we just take our reward. I'm surprised you keep finding something to do. This land really is a mess. We haven't fixed that, so I'll let you know if there's anything else. I'll see you later, I guess. Let's talk to Ephron since we're here. He's resting on a bridge, sitting on its edge and keeping his feet in the cold water. As you get closer, he spares you a polite smile. Good to see you in one piece, traveler. I noticed that no soul in your tribe carries a weapon that would contain iron or copper. Not because of some priest prattle, we just have neither. He taps the sharpened obsidian of his club proudly. But we do what we can, and with fine results. We hunt nothing larger than deer and cast rocks from slingshots. Ela hopes to trade for copper with his firewood, chairs. We'll see. His eyes tell you that you'll see nothing of the sort. There was even a traveler here a year or two ago who was seeking ore in this land. He went to the eastern ravine at the foraging grounds, south of here, and gives you a playful look. And suddenly claps his hands and steps forward, making the wolf's jaw bounce up and down. Dead. His tent is still there, but the shell went into the fogs. Nope. We're gonna go talk to somebody about that. Good hunting. Okay. Nope. Still can't tell them about the iron. What about old Hava? She's sitting in the shadow of a shed, resting her hand and a cheek on the handle of a garden hoe. I was asking about the merchants. Our hunters push away the beasts, but it's not safe enough for us to keep roaming from here to there on a whim. But you're right, Roadwarden. I'm just a farmer with a past. During the pause that follows, a cold gust of wind ruffles your cloak. It's Foggy who speaks with travelers and merchants, knows how to price wares and labor. We need both her place and her experience, but you know how these roads are. When we need to resupply, we send a whole expedition with a cart, not a lonely peddler. That's fair. I need supplies. We could buy a roast chicken. They don't cost much, but we're a little low on food. But it's 1 coin per chicken. We can get 3 travel rations per coin once a day at Pelt, which we're kind of on the way for, so. Yeah, I haven't found a way to tell Creeks about the copper vein yet. I know. It's real. Winterfairy says, get that chicken! Chicken. So, shall we buy chicken? And how many? We have 23 coins, which is enough to buy some things elsewhere. We have other things we could buy. I don't want to spend all the coins. Winner, chicken dinner. All right, how many chickens are we eating? How many chickens are we buying, I should say? It is a spiced whole meal cooked with care, after all. Winter Fairy says 3 chickens. Counts as 1. 1 chicken. It might rot if we don't use it fast enough. That's fair. Well, the ones have it. Oh, I can only buy 1 per day. Good to know. We cannot get any more chicken. We have a chicken. Just a chicken. Farewell. All right. We need to get 2 Foggies to sleep. Soda Pop is observing the monkeys moving on the surface of the rock face, swinging its tail. We have 2 hours and 45 minutes to find shelter. We could go to Foggy's. We could go to the cabin. We cannot get to the abandoned watchtower in time. To Foggy's it is. We're going to Foggy's. You ride by a patrol from Creeks that's escorting a cart loaded with timber. They greet you politely, mentioning the growing safety on the roads. As you ride further, you notice the fresh coat of pebbles covering the muddier scrapes of the tail, the trimmed shrubs and cleared tufts of grass. From now on, it should be easier to cross the path between Foggy Lake and the village. Do we say, finally the locals are waking up, or I'm making a difference? How do we pat ourselves on the back? Finally or difference? 1 or 2? Finally or difference? 1 or 2? Maybe if we find all the hunters, we could We haven't figured out how to deal with the howler monkeys is the problem. That is what we're kind of stalled on, is we need to figure out what to do with howler monkeys. Too good to know it matters. Trav wants us to pat us on the back, pat ourselves on the back. Yay, we're making a difference. What does the rest of chat think? Count agrees. All right. Cool. We're gonna pat ourselves on the back. We are making a difference, guys. We're doing it. We're doing what we came here to do. You hear a commotion coming from the lake, drawing your eyes to the air bubbles and water ripples. After a couple of moments, a scarp of the lake turns red, or a scrap of the lake turns red. I can read, I promise. There are dozens of feathers scattered around the yard, as well as some bloodstains on an apron that's hung on the fence. We are going in. I don't need to eat right now. The air is humid and stuffy. The tables were just washed with a wet cloth. Foggy is kneeling by the hearth, removing ash and washing the cauldron. She welcomes you with a Stentonian cheerful shout. Hello, love! Good to see you in one piece. I have some things I'm willing to part with, and I may be willing to buy them. The elk fur. Oh yes, this is definitely good. You unfold the elk fur and she presses it with her open palm. Soft enough, large, very good for my attic, dear. She examines it carefully, and the imperfections she points out sound to you rather minuscule. She sizes you up. I'll give you 23 dragon bones. She gives you no space to haggle. You're a love, but it's already more than a fair offer, and it is in fact way more than we would have gotten in Howlers. So deal or no deal, chat. You know the drill. Yeah, that's almost twice what we paid for it. So we are sleeping in the attic. We will benefit from it. Yep. Absolutely, we will. This is a deal. In about 30 seconds, those of non-subscribers will get an ad. Just giving people a heads up. But deal. Come back with something I could sell at a profit, or maybe hang on the wall. You collect your belongings. We already have 4 meals. We're good. Look at that money. 45 coins. Yes. It is time for the slip. Sleeping in the attic. And we do it for free now. And we heal so much. And we have food in the morning. Yay. And Foggy's staff will help take care of your mount. Yeah. Well, actually, no. We're in really good health, but to the slip. We're good on basically everything but appearance, because we don't have the pretty clothes. Listening to the grunts of the annoyed soda pop makes you feel uneasy, but at least the furs covering the floor are helping you relax. You don't even notice when it's already morning, and while the smell coming from the lower floor is not inviting, at least it's not you who has to take care of it. Foggy smiles at you. Anything else? Oh, I'd like to eat, please. Nom nom nom. What did we get? She brings a bowl of berries, 2 fresh though cold roasted perches, and a cup of chamomile tisane. Nice. Once you're done, Foggy packs the leftovers for you as a snack for the rest of the day and mentions that you've already paid for another 3 meals. We could try, Trav, but I think perhaps not. Let's not push it. Howler's Dell is already pissy about it. I don't really want to... It has been made clear throughout the game that it's a once-a-year thing. So, we're not headed for Howlers, which is where the clothes are. We are instead headed around the bottom, around the south. So, we can't forage here anymore. That's sad. Where did we leave our fish trap? I think we left it at the statue. Yeah, let's go check the statue on our way down. Hello, statue. Do we has the fish? The willow's twigs are swinging gently, sending the leaves towards the lake. The road is covered with a rustling blanket. The statue stands in all its glory, observing the road and those who use it. The coin you left in the wooden bowl is no longer here. Oh, somebody took it. We're just gonna wash up real quick. Yay. And then check the fish trap. Hey, we caught 3 fish. Do do do. We've caught 10 fish in total. You pull the rope and see 3 flopping fish inside. You prepare your axe, then open the lid and reach for your catch. You stun the animals one by one, the two with 2 careful blows on the top of their heads, then finish them off with a knife, cutting underneath the gill plates. You spend another minute or two bleeding out the fish in the brook, then cover them with a waxed linen sheet. You should eat them soon before they spoil. This is a pretty good place to leave the fish trap. We'll just put it back. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. There, it's put back now. I meant to do this. It's fine. We have fish, so we'll have to do something about them, but we need to go check out this dude. I know, such a lovely ambience. There's good sounds in this game. 2 pigeons fly off the roof and disappear above the cliff. We enter the cabin. You hear the voice of the man whom you encountered in the heart of the forest. He's standing right in the corner, holding a raised dagger. Right, looks like we're both alive. He lowers his shoulders and clears his throat nervously. I better memorize the sound of your horse. He hides the blade. You wanted to talk with me. Right. You helped me find this place, and I want to be even with you. He approaches the entrance and looks outside, maybe making sure that you're not being followed. You're going to look for the camp of bandits, stranger. If not now, then another day. You're merely one of those. His look is absent, wandering in a different place. So listen carefully. Head to the middle of the shortcut to a pile of stones, then turn north. There's no path in sight, but don't worry. You'll find it soon, you will. He pauses. It's not a safe road, but it's not as scary as people say. You'll need a hook with a rope to move through it. You ask him where his knowledge comes from, but there's anger in his blue eyes. Don't try to make an enemy now, stranger. I'm harmless, but not defenseless, and my past will remain merely that, the past. I still need to know who the soul devoured by the furless wolf was. Let me think. It wasn't in all that good shape, quite slaughtered, you see. It was a male. I saw them before. Name Vashel. Darker than me, black hair, this tall. He raises his hand to estimate the person's size. Was wearing leather, brown and green. Them people at creeks wear such things all the time. He had scraps of his face, he did, and here, points to his left ear. He had an animal bone, an earling. Are you planning to stay here for long? Nah, merely enough to rest before I head south. A few days, no more. His eyes get colder. But don't say a word about me to anyone, stranger. I'm dead serious. I have some questions about the peninsula. He shrugs. I don't care. I've no reason to amuse you. I've made a pledge to keep things to myself. Yep, I believe that does confirm Vashel is dead, which is very sad. Glaucia is looking for you. His breath gets heavier, and after you notice his hand reaching for something behind his back, he drops a dagger and raises his arms. Please, she'll kill me. Tell me your story. There ain't much of one. Wanted to be a free soul, hunt beasts, maybe take away a little something from what merchants keep in the lake-deep pockets. But Glaucia is obsessed with white marshes, and they're awoken. She told me my day is coming, that it's time to do my share of work. But I won't murder in her name. I won't. With every word, he speaks a bit quicker and ends his tale with a flinch, as if a bad memory just pinched his ear. So, we could say, just give me the things you stole from her. I'll try to convince her to forget about all this. We could say, can I be sure you won't just look for another band once you cross Hag Hills? We could say, helping you may turn out to be costly. What can you give me in return? Or we could say, I want nothing to do with a bandit, but I'm not going to use your life as a ware to sell. Just leave the peninsula and right now. So, one is stolen goods. Give me the stolen goods. 2 is aggressive paranoia. 3 is negotiations, and 4 is leave. 1, 2, 3, or 4. 1, stolen goods. 2, aggressive paranoia. 3, negotiations. Or 4, leave. Four, he'll go and she won't find him. That'll do. Life's going to be hard enough for him. As he says, he held back from killing. Yes, but he also took stuff and she wants it back. Like, the best way to get into her good graces without screwing over this guy is actually probably 1. But, yeah, we've got 2 votes for 4 at this point. We do want to deal with White Marshes. Getting on her better side might help with that. But it looks like chat's kind of 4 is the consensus. Just get out of here, dude. Just get out of here. Like, we're giving him advanced warning. Just leave. Just go today. Just go. I think that's the consensus here. All right. That's what we're due. He gives you a long look, then without a word grabs his sparse belongings. For a few breaths you see him heading south, but then he enters a darker part of the road and seems to vanish in thin air. Yeah. No, you're correct, Trav. We've just given him a heads up of get out. And go outside. Soda Pop is peacefully grazing in the grass. So the cabin is now empty, which is fine. We've got lots of time in the day. We're gonna go to the old stone bridge and see if we can find the green tribe. The water is unusually clean. Frogs croak on the banks loudly. No, he gathered his meager belongings, so whatever he stole went with him. There was no other option than to leave, so there's no option to find what he didn't leave. There's nothing to poke around in. There's not much in that cabin. We would have noticed. It's the spot where I can move east to the tribe of the Green Mountain. We need to get there. You don't see an easy way to move east. If there's any path you could take, it's completely overgrown. The thorny bushes won't allow you to move without harm, and even if you could, you wouldn't leave Soda Pop behind. Instead of wasting hours on cutting down the bushes, we're going to use the withering dust. That's why I bought it. Yep, she's mad enough to kill over something that meager. We could have tried, but we didn't. We just said, get gone. Get gone. Save yourself, get gone. You put on your thick leather gloves, then spread the dust beneath the plants. You draw water from the river with a wooden bowl and sprinkle it over the poison. You don't need to wait long. The yellow smoke appears immediately, so you step away and cover your mouth and nose. The sizzling bush starts to shake, losing its twigs and leaves. In less than a minute, you throw the plant into the stream, then end the job with your axe. That was easy. I hide the remaining poison in my bags. Oh, we still have another use of it. Nice. Soda Pop peacefully chews the grass and enjoying the sun on its back, ready to take a nap. So we've made our way forward. We can now go this way. It wouldn't be wise to ride through a lush meadow. There are animal pits and molehills, and the ground is covered with old roots, rocks, and mounds. Putting more weight on Soda Pop could turn any stumble into a broken leg. You lead it by the reins and keep looking around. Such lands are common hunting ground for dragonlings or cats that sneak in the grass. Finally, you reach a narrow game trail. The rest of the journey should be easier. Let's follow it. The trail turns into a wider path and leads you to a rocky hill. Soda Pop quenches its thirst, so you fill up your water skin. The trees by the road still bear signs of past trimming, giving shadow to old herbal patches now overgrown. The vegetables were dug out by rabbits, and the apples on the ground are already rotten. You glance at the cave's entrance and let out a sigh at the sight of bones. You could hardly squeeze inside. Unfortunately, the path forward is clear. Um, so we've already cleaned ourselves in the stream. We're as pretty as we can get. I tether Soda Pop to a withered shrub and I take my axe and approach the cave. You prepare a torch, the rope, your gloves. You can't get too far away without putting Soda Pop in danger, so you don't take any food. Better to check if I can get inside with my gameston on. You should be able to squeeze in. A ghastly screech cuts the air. You step back, dropping a part of your equipment. A creature is running at you. Axe time. The monster looks like a furless, gray, wrinkled human with stunningly long limbs. You see its bones as if the skin hardly contains the guts. In a blink of an eye, it squeezes through the entrance, bending in ways that seem impossible to you. You've disturbed the lair of a corpse eater. So, without using force, we could focus on dodging its charge, which is 1. We could jump away and take a wide swing. We need to cut deeply, it doesn't matter where, which is 2. We could finish it off with a single cut, hold our position and aim at the head, which is 3. We could jump forward and strike without thinking, hurting it as quickly as we can, which is 4. I'll slow it down by cutting its legs. I crouch slightly, which is 5. Or if it tries to grapple me, I can cut its arm, which is 6. However, with the force, we have less options. So, it's fast. I can't give it an opportunity to get close. It's interesting. Oh, we did actually. Shall we go to our journal? Bestiary. Corpse eaters. These hairless, scaleless creatures resemble constantly stooped apes, but their limbs and torsos are extremely thin, as if there are barely any muscles on them. While they're nimble, their limited strength turn them into scavengers. They rarely move in packs. Right's followers preach that corpse eaters should be purged from the dragonwoods no matter the cost. A famous tale from the tablets describes the ancient home of these beasts, the Shadow Vale. They hunted and devoured any human they could find and woke up their undead shells right away, even without a fog. Countless expeditions, even from the days before the 10 cities, were meant to wipe them out in the woods. According to Dalit, there's somewhere for sure, but not around. There ain't many travelers and settlements here, so they can't feast on humans alone. Last time I saw their claw marks, when was it? A year ago or so, when we placed traps in the northeast near the old watchtower. I bet they stay away from the heart of the forest, so all that remains is the far east. You can handle at least one of them with that axe of yours. Just remember to give it all right away. Hurt the beast even slightly. Just cut its arm or something, and it's going to run and panic. They may be deadly, but they're cowards. So, with the force options that we have, we can 1, 2, or 3. All right. So it looks like 2 is what everyone is saying, is go for the head and kill it immediately. Yep. All right. We're using force, and it is death. Death as quickly as possible. All right. Here we go. The creature jumps at you right away, with arms and legs spread out in a lethal hug, and you're too slow to react. Its arms cling to your own, pushing them along your sides. The legs clutch at your hips. You barely stand straight as it instantly tears through the gameston on your back with its claws. The terrible stench doesn't help you. Do we run at the rocks to crush its shell? Do we hit it with our axe? Do we try to get it off me? Or do we let myself fall down and crush the beast's limbs? 1, 2, 3, or 4. Shell, blade, off, limbs. 1, 2, 3, or 4. What'll it be, guys? It's already hurt our gameston once. 4 might prevent it running away, either because we're on top of it or because its limbs are damaged. That's a good vote. 4 is the first vote. 2 is the second. We just hit it with our blade anywhere. Winter Fairy also says 4. All right, let's try to limit its mobility. I let myself fall down and crush the beast's limbs, and we died. Before you hit the ground, the creature spreads its arms, resting its hand on the soil, then sinks its teeth into your neck, still holding you with its legs. Sauron's soul has left its shell. Whoopsie daisy. We died. However, we can replay this combat. Shall we continue, or are we done with Roadwarden? And this is how we died. Chat. New game or replay combat? 1 or 2. New game or replay combat? I am leaving it up to you. Trav says new game? What? You don't want to see how this actually ends? Winter Fairy starts off the vote with replay. What does the rest of chat want to do? Actually, I think everybody says replay. All right, we will replay this combat again. Let's try again, shall we? I grab my axe. All right. So, do we use the force options because they're... Or do we use the non-force options because they might be faster? That's our first vote. Force or no force? Force is 1, no force is 2. Tell me, chat, tell me true. What is it that we shall do? Because we biffed it the first time. When Sorry Awkward gets back from vacation, we can tell him we died. Count says no force. What does the rest of chat think? Everybody says no force. All right, no force this time. We are not gonna click the force button. That seemed like a bad idea. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 options here. We have charge. We have wide swing. We have aim for the head. We have strike without thinking. We have kill its legs, or we have grapple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Count says strike without thinking, number 4. Trav says no, 5. Try to wreck its legs. Okay, I have a vote for 4 and I have a vote for 5. Winter Fairy, what do you think? What do we do? Yeah, you gotta break the tie, my girl, because, or you could just tie it further by picking any other number and making me do it. Which is not nice, but that is an option too. I'll let you have your options. Even if I'm like, no, please break my ties. Don't make me have to make decisions. I would prefer not. Winter Fairy also says 5. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5s win it. We crouch. Let's cut its legs. The creature jumps at you right away, with arms and legs spread out in a lethal hug, and you're too slow to react. Its arms cling to your own, pushing them along your sides. The legs clutch at your hips. You barely stand straight as it instantly tears through the gamison on your back with its claws. The terrible stench doesn't help you one bit. We happen to know that falling down does nothing. What, 1, 2, or 3, chat? What will it be? You guys tell me. Rocks, blade, or off? 1, 2, or 3. Winterfairy says 1. Same place as before. We have a problem. Try 1. The 1s are in the lead, and Count is AFK for the male, so I guess the 1s win. We'll try to crush its shell. You let out a scream and charge at the wall, making the monster's back hit it first. It lets out a terrified shriek. Its grasp weakens. You set yourself free. So, no more tricks. I take a new stance and raise my blade. I'm ready now, or I hurt it as quickly as I can, which may or may not help. Which is a roll of the die. No tricks or hurt. 1 or 2. Tell me, chat, tell me true. What is it that we will do? 1 or 2? Trav says, kill fast and hard. Hurt it as quickly as I can. Winterfairy, what do you think? 1? 1 is likely to lead it running away. Yeah. This thing is fast. We don't like that it's fast. We want to hurt it. We want to hurt it till it is dead. Alright. Hurt it as quickly as it can. You surprise the creature and hit it in the middle of its jump. You send it to the ground with a deep wound, and it lands with a thud, crying in pain. It crawls away, flailing its arms in dread. Let's finish it off or take no risks. Finish it or no risks. 1 or 2. Do we go Mortal Kombat on this thing, or do we let it run away? Winterfairy says 1. Finish him. Count, welcome back. Finish him. We are the Warden. Exactly. This is the way. I've just mixed Mortal Kombat with the Mandalorian. Oh boy. Or we can kill the undead creating monster. Choices. All right, finish him it is. You catch up with it as it turns its back. You sink the blade into its torso once, twice, more, until it stops moving. Its raised arms stay still for a moment, then rest on grass. The dark nails, longer than the rest of its hand, lie still. Your breath slows down. The carcass smells of unwashed sweat and rotting flesh. Oh. We did it. We did it. We killed it. We killed it. Look at it. It's dead there. The art has updated. It's dead now. Trav wants us to take a closer look at the dead corpse eater. See what we can find. I'm fine with that. I do think that we should burn the monster as well, but I think we have multiple options here that we can consider doing, so. We actually did not get dirty. We do need to fix our armor, though. But it's okay for the moment. What does the rest of chat think? Count says, take care of your horse. Make sure Soda Pop is okay. I actually think we will get to do multiple things here, guys. So don't worry. We will do multiple things, I promise. Winterfairy says Soda Pop first. All right, Soda Pop it is. Your palfrey is walking in place and swishes its tail. You approach it slowly, avoiding its panic. You show it the open palms of your hands and speak out some gentle nonsense. After a few minutes, you step close enough to touch its side. You reach for your sack for the fresh plants and find an apple, which you cut in half. Your mount eats from your palm and lets out a relaxed snort. All right, Soda Pop has been calmed down. Let's take a closer look at the dead corpse eater. The gray, wrinkled skin resembles that of an old human, but it's hairless and clings tautly to the bones, especially the ribs. The torso is short, rectangular. The large eyes and long limbs resemble no other monster you've seen, not even an ape. You consider cutting the shell further, but you don't know where to start. You've never seen someone owning a ghoul's trophy. while putting it into a stew would poison an entire tavern. The red-stained grass stinks like rotten eggs. You could collect some of the warm fluid. It's rare and may be valuable to an unusual soul. I'm gonna do it. Yep, this is gonna be a good idea. You put on the gloves, pick up a broad blade of grass, and carefully gather the poison. Yeah, could be worth cash, or it could be useful. We burn this monster. No more corpse. You spend some time gathering dry sticks and grass and throwing them at the carcass from as far as it takes to avoid the stench of blood. You prepare the worst torch you have, set the oil on fire, and add it to the small pile, and then head to the stream to wash your blade. Yeah. We're not dirty. It is early, so I'm gonna fix my gamison. Takes an hour, that's fine, but at least it's fixed. We do have corpse eater blood. Gross. But we have it. So to return. We're gonna return to the cave now. Yeah. We didn't. I mean, it smelled, but our gamison took the brunt of it, and it's not gonna do a lot to clean the gamison, to be honest. So we're okay. I mean, our appearance did not even get mussed, so we're okay. Also, there's about an ad in for the non-subscribers in a minute. So if you are lurking about and a non-subscriber, you're gonna get an ad. I'm sorry. I even if I don't have any non-subscribers in chat, I just figured I should let you people know. It's good to practice that. All right, to the cave. The ceiling is short, but you can stand upright. The corridors lead to deeper parts of the flooded chamber, but unlike the corpse eater, you can't squeeze through them. You spot no human skulls or limbs among the bones, even though there are scrapes of old moldering pants and tunics, as well as some odds and ends that belong to victims. A comb, an old wooden club, a hood, a leather belt. Thankfully, the corpse eater has cleaned up every scrap of flesh, so there's no stench of rotting meat. Let's search the area for anything of value. You return to Soda Pop and unpack a candle in your tinderbox, then sit on the ground and prepare the flint and the linen char cloth. Decades ago, before the Southern invasion, people used fire strikers made of thick steel, but all you have left is a cube-like piece of harsh pyrite. It's not the best, but enough to make a couple of sparks. You put on your gloves and look underneath the remains, then into the corners. Your patience is rewarded once you spot a glitter in one of the pools. You pull it closer with a stick and find a knife with a broken blade made of steel. It carries no sign of rust yet. You consider throwing it away, but the handle is made of polished bone that was engraved with the shapes of creepers and flowers. You think about your conversation with Eudocia. This could have belonged to Admon, and is likely still worth a coin or two. Well, we found 2 of the 3 hunters. Soda Pop is looking around, flicking back and forth with its ears. Yeah, we're too clean. We can't actually do anything. So it's time to travel onward. We have found a small cave. The grand brown and gray mountains are blocking the horizon, and you doubt the path is going to reach the snow-covered peaks. Without trees and clouds blocking your view, you're like an ant approaching a fortress. Let's hope there are some benches for me to take a break from climbing, or I wonder what kind of beasts hide among the rocks. Climbing or beasts. Climbing or beasts, 1 or 2. Tell me, chat, what do we think about our view? It's quite possible that said hunter ended up not surviving the corpse eater and fought it in the cave, and therefore the knife just got dropped. Trav says 2, but cautiously. Either we find them or they find us while we're not looking while we walk across. Winterfairy agrees. Look out for the beasts. All right. I believe the twos have it. Interesting. The unbodied keeper of the garden is standing still, with a dark cloak on their shoulders and an eyeless face observing the woodlands. Their club, more than 3 times as tall as you are, is made of a single piece of rock and could squash you by simply collapsing without anyone's will. A set of stairs leads into a convenient corridor-like ravine. The gentle wind carries no shouts or scent of blood. I approach the statue. The statue's face has no features, and the shell ends with the neck, revealing a dark space instead of a torso. You lean closer and notice the coarseness of black and gray gritstone and how bitten by time it is. Both the figure and the socle are stained with white guano. Still, it's extraordinary work. The weight of the giant doesn't rest on its club, but rather on the boots, which are cleverly attached to the cloak. Sooner or later, something will break, most likely the arms. Without them, the statue won't hold its stance. Let's see if it reacts to my actions. What do you try to do? Hello? No. Speak. You introduce yourself and try to have a chat with the statue. It remains the same. Poke. The stone is cold. Wave. Nope. Walk past. Nope. Okay. Walk. Nope. Okay. You want me to kiss the statue? Okay, we'll try kiss. The stone is cold and coarse. Not very tasty. Offer food. Okay. Food. Hug. The stone is cold. I step away. I return to the statue. You're standing in front of the statue. I try to waken it. Command. Nope. Pet. Nope. Dragon bone. Nope. Offer. Hello. Offer worked. You touch your skin with the edge of your knife. Do I sacrifice my blood, or do I step away? I finally figured it out. Did we get told what to do? No, we did not. I'm not going to hit it with an axe. I don't want to break it. I can't give it offerings, but I can sacrifice my blood. Just great for me as a hemophobic, let me tell you. Trav says there may be other options. Come back to this one. Well, we don't have any Pneuma. We did not pick the mage class, so we has no spells. We have seen Orientis take control of awoken corpses with the use of sympathetic magic such as this. We could try it ourselves on this stone statue and see if we can't have a buddy. Winter Fairy is a little sacrificial today, apparently. What does the rest of chat think? 1 or 3? Yes, Winter Fairy. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. I think Trav has voted for 3, so count if you're there. Try praying for divine guidance. I know how to do this. Okay, pray. You try to utter a simple prayer, but as a minute goes by and you shift your weight from one leg to another, you struggle to focus. We are not a cleric. Nobody ever takes me seriously. Everyone takes you seriously. You literally lead my chat most of the time, Trav. What are you talking about? We'll come back to the travel. We've decided against it, Winter Fairy. I know that you were very into it, but we'll come back to the giant. It's not gonna go anywhere. Seeing how steep this part of the road gets, you dismount. It will be safer for you to get a bit tired now than to push Soda Pop into the verge of fatigue. You take a sip of water and start climbing. The road is winding and narrow, but it would fit a single wagon if it wasn't for the sporadic rocks and boulders blocking the path. Some of the larger ones are resting just in the middle, and as you look above, you struggle to recognize where they came from. They were placed here on purpose. The strong wind, the wooden bridge connecting the rock ledges, the unusual terrain. You can't pay attention to any of that now. A creature larger than a bear steps away from its nest, then screeches at you through its sharp, black-tipped, golden eagle-like beak. It spreads its wings as wide as a barn gate. You stay in the saddle. Apparently there's a spear and a beast. We can see the spear in the thing. Do we... We did ask the forest speaker about this. He didn't say much. For the most part, we've been told these people want to be left alone. But we're trying to find out what happened to Astron, and we know Astron went to speak with them. So essentially, we're going, hey guys, you remember a previous Roadwarden that you guys have spoken to before? What the heck happened to him? That's the whole purpose of us going here. So Count says examine the beast. The beast could attack us at any moment, but do we look at the spear or do we look at the beast? 1 is the spear, 2 is the beast. Count has started off the vote with 2 spear. Trav, I think, agrees. Not spear, beast. Beast. Sorry, my brain did a flippy flop. It shorted out for a moment. I'm back now, I promise. I've had my coffee today. This should not be an issue, but we're apparently going to look at the beast. Its movements are deliberate and confident. It makes a tiger-like leap, then stands still like a statue, while the brown, white, and yellow feathers covering the front half of its shell are still dancing with the wind. The wings hinder your sight, so you spot only glimpses of the cat-like claws and the clay-like fur. Its large chest rises and falls slowly. The noble griffin's yellow eyes speak only of violence. Its curved beak is longer than your forearm, and the talons on its front paws are like sickles. You don't doubt that its cruel promises may not only be fulfilled, but are a certainty. A single human with but a simple blade and a crossbow would never survive clashing with a monstrosity of this size. You don't have more time to mull it over. The beast leaps towards the rock face. After it flaps its wings, the gust of wind brushes your hair. It is time for us to go. So we do know that where a nest for a griffin's nest is, but we're going to get the heck out of Dodge. The winds, cold sweat, and altitude make you want to simultaneously take off your cloak and put on some heavier clothes. At least Soda Pop doesn't seem to care. You take deeper breaths. The path ahead seems gentler. There are no more trees, and you're surrounded by grasses, pebbles, sporadic bushes. You look down at the herds gathering around the stream, the rustling leaves and the birds, large and small, flying above the forests of the peninsula. From here, everything seems calm. How do we feel about this view? Too bad most people will never catch such a view, is 1. 2, it's just an illusion. These trees hide blood, blades, and claws. There's nothing peaceful about them. 3 is, I wish I could see all of this from the peak of the mountain. Or 4 is, at least getting down won't be as difficult. 1, 2, 3, or 4. View, illusion, peak, or down. Uh, Count starts off the vote with 3. I wish I could see this from the peak of the mountain. Winter Fairy says 2. It's just an illusion. The dangers are out there. Trav also says 2. This place is dangerous. Pretty, but dangerous. Always have your axe ready. Remember the griffin? Constant vigilance. All right, Mad Moody. Mad Eye Moody. Yeah. So it's just an illusion. Oh boy. A loud screech reaches you from up the path, where at the top of a crag you see a massive saurian standing on 4 limbs. It's displaying proudly its dark green skin with a bit brighter stomach and orange stripes on its legs and eyebrows, as well as the tail, which is swinging left to right. The size of the monster makes you stop, but before you turn around, you realize there's a short woman sitting on its back, dressed in a red gamison and an iron helmet with green pants that blend in with her mount. You can see the details of her hair, but she's not attacking you just yet, resting the blunt edge of her spear on the ground. Her other hand holds the reins attached to a bridle put on the monster's head, cramping its wide mouth. She raises her weapon in greeting and speaks in a language that at first confuses you, but you manage to figure out a few of the words. She's using the old speech, the almost forgotten tongue of your ancestors, though in a dialect so distant that you doubt you could speak freely with her. You think she's saying something similar to, "Greetings, traveler, are you lost?" Yes, Trav, the very sensible-eyed Moody. I get you. I get you. I greet her back using the remains of the old speech I heard as a kid. I seek the village at the end of this path. It's this time it's her who pauses, then repeats, "The village?" She pronounces it so differently from you that it makes you smile, but you confirm her guess. During the following minutes, you both try to get used to each other's speech. Whenever she uses the city tongue, she does so with sounds she's clearly not used to saying out loud. But as you combine it with gestures and the few words you know from the old speech, it's enough to move the conversation forward rather smoothly. Finally, she asks if you have a message for the chief or the shaman. Tell me, I'll pass it to them. I need to speak to them myself. I'm the local road warden. Even though she doesn't give any clear command to her mount, it takes a few steps forward, moving without needing to speed up quickly. After a confident leap, the beast lands on the crag right above you, allowing the warrior to look at you closely. Roadwarden, she says in the city tongue, like Astron, the city folk. You nod. What do Roadwarens do, really? Um, Our friendly option is I protect travelers and help settlements stay in touch with each other. Our playful option is looking back at my last few days, I think I meant to do pretty much everything. That's not incorrect. The distanced/neutral option is the city of Havlavin pays me for making the roads safer. The intimidating option is I show her my blade. I meant to patrol my roads, but that involves a lot of bloodshed. I don't recommend this option, by the way. Or the vulnerable option is it's just a fancy way of calling a rider for hire, like a messenger and an adventurer in one. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Playful, distanced, intimidating, or vulnerable. Count says playful. Trav also says playful. It's cute, but no. 3 and 4 are very no. 1 looks good. Okay, so Count says 2. Um, Trav says 1. Winter Fairy. What do you think? Friendly or playful? Winter Fairy says 1. Friendly. Everybody's going for 1. All right. I protect travelers and help settlements stay in touch with each other. You hear a monstrous roar coming from the mountains. The woman looks around with a raised spear, and then her eyes return to you again. Her voice is strict. You'll find no thing for you here, as we seek no travels, no in touch. She pulls the reins and makes the Saurian turn around, then leaps away up the path, staying on top of the crags. Something's happening not too far away from here, she shouts from a distance. Let's not risk staying around. We'll speak in the village. I tell Soda Pop to keep up with the beast. I will note that Saurian has very similar description of markings as Asteron's Saurian. Just FYI. Pretty sure it might be his. You ride through the corridor of rock faces, led by the jumping Saurian. The woman in a helmet blows a large horn, longer and thinner than a ram's, with enough power to cause an avalanche. And once you reach the massive wooden gate blocking the path, it's already open. The few people you've seen so far are well equipped, wearing heavy jackets, shields, and steel weapons, though some of them seem a bit old. Your surroundings get more spacious, with small garden patches and stone sheds spread on both sides of the path. Riding by the onlookers, you enter a trot, then a walk. The locals pay as much attention to you as to your mount, commenting on your appearance in the old speech. Unlike the guards, the workers are carrying rather simple tools, many of them made of bones or rocks. Their woolen, undyed outfits are appropriate for hard labor, worn and patched up, but also heavy, protecting their owners from the cold mountain winds. The one thing that differentiates them from one another is their headgear. Every person you see is wearing something on their head, mostly ear-covering kerchiefs, vividly dyed with embroidered patterns of leaves, flowers, and gems. They are sea folk, no doubt about it. They have long limbs, hardly any beards, and the few children you see have uncovered hair, wavy and dense. Yet their paleness is unusual, as if they spend little time outside. Your guide is nowhere in sight, but so far no one has tried to stop you. I don't want to trample anyone. I dismount and look for the Saurian rider. Oh, we've reached every village, apparently. Yep. Indeed, Trav. It is not a throwaway reference. Too well described and remembered. She waits you at the cave mouth, where the teeth and tongue are so distinct that you doubt they were shaped so without the villagers' interference. The crisp air carries the scent of late summer meadows. Aside from the discussions of farmers and guards, you hear the roaming wind and gloating ibexes, but the terraces and crops around you are quiet, making you realize it's the first village you've seen in quite a while where there's no constant noise or humming of water or of heavy labor. You're safe here, but not welcome, you hear from your guide in the old speech. She's not the only guard in sight. The spears, slings, and clubs are getting a bit too numerous for your taste. We need not a rock from you, rider. You weren't invited by us. Unless you have a gift worthy of our chiefs and shamans' time, we see your visit as needless. You realize she's more than 40, and even if she has a small stature, no one seems eager to replace her as a negotiator or to question her authority. The accent of those who chat in the distance is so dense you can't catch a single word. I need to bring your tribe a gift so I can see your leaders? She lets out a dishonest laugh. Or why would they want to see you? Your problems are but a pebble in a stream, and we seek no change of the current. Well, we've got lots of things we could talk about. Shall I just go top down? Because I'm pretty sure we can speak all of these. Or should I go for a specific one? We can show our possessions. Do any of these things interest you? So we can kind of decide what we might have to offer. Is there something that we could do for you instead, which is essentially, hey, I don't have anything, but can I do something for you? We could just say, well, I'm trying to find Astron, so if you'll talk to me about that, maybe we can work on that instead. Or we could ask about the hunters from Creeks. Are they around? Do you know about them? Or I'll need to hide and sleep. Because it's getting late in the day. Count says top to bottom. The first two are kind of related to each other, so I'm not sure if doing one will negate the other, but it's possible we can do all of them. We also have the option to travel, of which it will take us 3 hours to get back to the watchtower. We have the time for it, though. We have enough time to even get to Foggy's if we need to. Winter Fairy just says ask about Asteron. Trav wants number 1. All right. I'm trying to find Asteron. She gives you a grim look. So is our shaman. She had some big plans with him, but I shouldn't talk about it with city folk. Okay, that's good. I'm trying to find a few hunters from the village of Creeks. Were they around? She exchanges looks with the other armed villagers to her left and right, but they shake their heads, and she meets your eyes again with a confident nod. We haven't seen anyone from that tribe in many years. Okay. Is there something I could do for you instead? No, she scoffs, but seeing your expression continues with a serious look of her own. Our mountains will kill any stranger. We spend years mastering their trails and traps. Whatever comes from the woodlands will bring us nothing of value. Don't you dare suggest we were waiting for a city folk to help with our troubles. Okay. I bring news of great importance, matters of life and death. She looks at the faces that surround you. Important to who? To a rider from a city? What does it matter to the farmers, builders, smiths, and fighters of the tribe of the Green Mountain? If we need help, we go to the lowlands. Okay. I point at the sky. I'll need to hide. To sleep? She looks away and speaks with her neighbors. You recognize words such as shelter or stranger, but when she's not doing her best to speak slowly and clearly, it's like she's using yet another language. She then gestures for you to follow her to the shed just a few steps behind you and draws aside the curtain covering the entrance. The room is filled with sacks, old barrels, and bone-made tools. We'll prepare you a sleeping spot, and your beast may stay outside. The village is heavily guarded at night. Don't be afraid. Soon after, a few more of the farmers bring a pile of furs, placing them in the corner. Move them to the center when you're ready. Okay, so we at least can sleep here, unlike in other places before we had to unlock the ability. All right, well, I show her my possessions. Do any of these interest you? She points at the only thing that her tribe could use. Her neighbors gather around, lightheartedly commenting on the things you carried into the mountain. So, Astron's cloak and our brand new battle axe. What else would interest you? Haven't you heard the tales of the old times when the chiefs welcomed each other with the best things they had to offer? There's a playful hint in her voice. Something of great value and what's difficult to find. A sharp blade, a cask full of golden liquid, spices from another land. Okay. So we do have options. Oops. I mean, we still have our well-crafted battle axe. Like, if we lose the new battle axe, it's not a deal, but Astron's cloak is way too useful to us. But we do have a spare axe. So, for the axe, deal or no deal? That is the question here. For the axe. Not the cloak. We're not even going to get into that. For the axe, deal or no deal? Chat, you know what to do. Tell me what you decide. Deal or no deal about specifically the axe? We can at least ask them a question. At the moment, no, but that doesn't mean we can't go to Foggy's and talk. Like, Foggies would be the best place to go for either of those things at the moment. Possibly Pelt of the North, but at the same time, like, meh. So, for the axe, deal or no deal? 1 or 2, deal or no deal? You guys tell me. Trav says, I'm willing to trade the axe. Not sure we've seen spices anywhere. That might be a scholar option. It also might be something that we can recover from Glaucia's band. Foggy, we may not have had the option to buy spices anywhere just because we've not talked to these people yet, which means that could open up in various places. Like, there's things. No, we cannot get another new axe from where we got the last one, which was Howler's Dell, but, like, have we even been using it? I don't even know. So, I believe that's 2 deals. Winter Fairy, you wanna weigh in? We have an ad starting in roughly a minute or so for the non-subscribers. Just heads up. All right, it looks like we're gonna do the axe. The Saurian rider takes a closer look at the fine blade you bought in Howler's Dell and gives it a good swing. A few of her companions argue she should accept it, and she caves in quickly. A treasure of a blade, she admits. We can accept it. Very well. Very well. She gives you a few minutes to pack up your belongings. Your beast will be safe here, she says confidently. We have enough meat, hides, and muscles. We won't rob you. Let it graze. After you tether Soda Pop to a tree, keeping it away from most garden patches, you head to the cave mouth. The corridor goes down, getting darker after only a few steps, but seeing how often the locals go through it without any source of light, you doubt there's going to be many treacherous steps ahead of you. Still, your guide leaves the shed with a lantern made of old brass with windows engraved with winged dragons circling around them and an erupting volcano. I grab my own crude lantern. The tongue sticking out of the entrance doesn't go on for long. For some time you descend gently, then encounter a set of spiral stairs. Once you reach the bottom, you find yourself in a labyrinth of tunnels and chambers, some of them sunk in darkness, others lit by campfires, with smoke leaving through the holes in the ceilings. Spread among them are dozens of children and elders, but also workbenches and other spots worked by adults, some of them too busy to even spare you a look. There are woodworkers, water carriers, potters, flour millers, cooks. You hardly notice how stuffy the air is down here. Seeing the consistently spacious corridors conveniently wide enough for even an obese shell to squeeze through them, you can't tell how many, if any, of these passages were not made by human hands. The entire walk takes you only a few minutes, but the sheer amount of rooms you walk by make you lose your way many times before you reach a short path leading to a bright, warm chamber, to which the Saurian rider invites you with a gesture. You smell smoke and humidity as you listen. The humming of a stream reaches you from far below. Much louder are the cries of an infant, amplified by an echo. I put away my lantern and enter the chamber. The simple huts are short enough for you to see their hide-covered roofs from above, and as you look at the ceiling, there's no water dripping on them. They don't offer much privacy either, even if the entrances were covered with a curtain. The gap between the bones let you peek inside. It's as if they one day collapsed here from the surface, losing their purpose, but remaining as a relic of the old way of living. While the huts are only filled with furs and a few pieces of clothing, the chamber is far from empty. A few women, some of them very young, some in their 30s or 40s, are sitting around the campfire, feeding infants or playing with toddlers. There's a man stretching a piece of leather on a tanning rack, and you hear splashes of water coming from a corner. Then your eyes land on two people sitting in a circle of wooden stumps. Their gaze makes your destination clear. I step closer. They are sitting a few steps away from one another, and as you're invited to sit down, the three of you form a triangle. The air is heavy, but you smell no sweat or dirt, and aside from the crying child and echoes of distant play and conversations, the dancing lights and crackling wood are no less cozy than an inn in the evening. The man in his 50s is leaning forward, resting his elbow on his thighs, more like a tired guard than a distinguished ruler. He's dressed just as heavily as the people you saw on the surface, but the fabric of his clothes is so dark blue that it's almost black. He's barefoot, and you wonder if that's enough to not make him sweat under the layers of wool. His helmet, shield, and sword are resting on the ground. His long gray hair freely surrounds his face, which is covered with wrinkles and scars. Some beast was lucky enough to leave a mark deeper than that. The man's nose is missing, leaving a disfigured hole. Yeah, exactly. Astron was up to something. I don't know what, but he was up to something. The woman could be 25 and has absent eyes that are roving over your outfit, equipment, face, and hands. She's dressed much more humbly than the man. Her tunic and pants are undyed and short enough to reveal her calves and forearms. She has unevenly cut short black hair and a yellow kerchief that's hanging from her neck, lazily thrown over her back. Her legs are stretched out in front of her, resting on the heels of her sandals and swaying left and right, spread just above an unfolded sack covered with gemstones, pebbles, and animal bones. She keeps her hands on the nearest trunk, desperate for something to support her back. Both of them are unusually pale, but the woman looks almost sick. I introduce myself. um Unfortunately, this is the end of my stream. We're gonna get into this conversation tomorrow. So I stream from 1 to 4 every Monday through Friday here on my channel. And that's 1 p.m. Eastern US time. So if you are not in the Eastern time zone of the US, please Google what time I would start for you. But yeah, this is where we're going to leave it for the day. We've made a lot of progress. What Astron was up to, I'm not entirely certain. I think at one point he was, as we are, honest. And then somewhere along the way, something happened. We don't know what. We've yet to track him down, but there's people who talk about him. So we'll figure that out more tomorrow. So thank you guys for joining me today. This was great. We made quite a bit of progress. It is time for me to end the stream. So let's see. Do I have a friend to raid? Nope, I have no friends, which is sad. We should make friends, guys. We should make friends. But anyway, this is the end of stream. So take care, everyone. Have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday. I'll be back here tomorrow at 1, like I said. And until then, I miss you all, and I look forward to seeing you then. Bye, guys.